Hey, what's going on, everybody? Looks like we're live here. This is Tyler Coates, and I am here with my man Joe Saz on New Year's Eve at the usual time that we like to go, and I am still kind of rearranging my setup here, making sure that everything is good to go. So I think that we are now. I appreciate Joe for joining me. I was just kind of sharing with him that it's been a bit of a tradition over the past, I don't know, a few years for me to go to a concert on New Year's Eve. There would always be a good concert somewhere in the area, and me and a group of friends would always make a point to go see it. Generally, Telluride would be one of our favorite spots to go. We would be able to stay at a sweet spot on the ski mountain and go watch a concert. Some of the best music I've ever seen, and in a great community, and then go skiing for the weekend. And that was, just what life was all about. So having this New Year's Eve, being at home by myself, it's a pleasure to be able to go live here with Joe, because that's something that I think will be a good way to kind of balance out some of the partying that's been done over the years. And it's a great pleasure to be able to share our thoughts during this historic time in Bitcoin, as it has recently created a new all-time high. And as Fibbo promptly said, not that wussy all-time high that it previously tried to do. And as I promptly tweeted that the sun had gone down and the moon had come up. So I sure liked that as well. And here we are getting to spend New Year's Eve and bring in the brand new year together. Fibbo's trying to join us, and he's fortunate enough to have something a little bit better to do, but I can't imagine anything I'd rather be doing than hanging out here with Joe and bringing in the new year in style by getting to listen to our man analyze the order book and share some of the stuff that he's been seeing over the last couple of weeks, as we did miss you guys for Christmas. So how are your holidays, Joe? And how have you been?
Great to be here. Thanks for having me, of course. Love you, dog. And Happy New Year, Merry late Christmas, all that. Holidays have just been chill to me, kind of just laying low, laying low. Um, not too much going on. Smoking hookah and yeah, just watching movies, I guess, and kind of hitting up some people on the phone here and there. But yeah, just kind of chilling.
Well, sure appreciate you taking the time to join us this evening. And tell me, is that like that? That's not a plastic tip that you got there, is that?
No, if you ask the pros, this is the best one to get. These are the best ones. You want the ones that are like disposable because of all the gunk that builds up over time. I know
Well,
I learned it. My Muslim friends are the ones that said these are the best.
I figured that you'd already be a pro, so I had to ask, and that you wouldn't be cheaping out. So you got yourself a sweet guitar, and now you got yourself a nice hookah. And these are my kinds of purchases. I've been making a few of these kinds of purchases myself, and while everybody talks
Forgot the jacket, yo.
Oh, damn. I mean, shit. I didn't know that. I thought that maybe that just comes out for special occasions. Yeah, let me compliment the haircut too while I'm at it. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to get to spend the evening here together. And yeah, like I was saying, a lot of people like to talk about the Lambos or whatever. And on the one hand, I despise like overspending and the consumer culture, that sort of thing, and spending more than you have and earn, and just expecting it all to be a-okay. That I don't like, but on the other hand, I don't like the idea of completely, starving yourself of the things that you really do want. And we live in a world where we can get some, really cool things for like a couple $100. And when things are good and you're feeling, like there's a reason to celebrate per se, as we are throwing the all-time high party, and we already have a great guest list and are really looking forward to that. It's good to treat yourself to some of these things, and specifically experiences, I think, are going to be the best way to spend money. And then also I'm a big proponent of these natural planetary supplements that can help stimulate the mind, as tobacco, nicotine has been proven to do, and treating yourself to indulging in some of your vices, as we both like to do, is something that I think it's okay, as long as you don't hate yourself for it and you have a healthy relationship. So we are rolling in the new year, and it's a time where a lot of people, it's like people are starting to think about resolutions and this sort of thing, and I think that's all well and good, and I am of the belief that it's very easy to set resolutions once a year and not keep them, whereas those people that are consistently setting goals, that this is a very good time to be kind of taking notes, taking tabs on the past year, your performance and your results. What were you wanting to do over the last year, and specifically writing it down, because it can be hard for me to remember even what I ate for breakfast, and then seeing what you decided that you were going to do to accomplish that, and then looking at the results in a way of, did I do everything that I needed, and where can I start to improve? And that's something that I think is very important. So Joe, are you starting to think about any resolutions or goals? You seem to be a very goal-oriented person.
Yeah, they're kind of somber, but I did post a Happy New Year's tweet that wasn't very if it wasn't probably the Happy New Year with the wine glass chink or clink that everyone was thinking, so I think we've been experiencing a lot of dark times, and I think it's been bad. I think it's been a lot of exploitation of power. So my New Year's resolution is to get deeper into the get closer to my enemies, see if I can make the world a better place.
That's interesting, and that's actually one thing that's been on my mind, is to get into the art of war. I think that is a good a good way to go about it, if you have the ability and mentality to do so. And yeah, that's it's definitely been a very a dark time, and this is a year that will go down in textbooks forever. I mean, our great grandchildren are going to read about this year, and the toilet paper shortage, and then the all-time high in the stock market that followed the riots and the lockdowns. And I mean, this is going straight down.
Small business shut down, mass, this is a weird, and it's not over yet. We're walking into 21 as badly as we're leaving 2020. So I'm not coming here to say fucking, everything's great. The new year doesn't represent much to me. It's a tomorrow that is a copy paste of what today is. So I'm not thinking that, as much as I want to be cheerful on the new year, I think that things are dark, and they're probably going to get darker. This is something I've been expecting for a long time. So my New Year's resolution would go from making $1 million to, whatever people want to wish for, to making an impact.
Well, yep, I love to hear make an impact on top of your mind, and we will definitely dive into some charts, because that is what we're here to do. But it's always good to take a little moment at the top of the hour to chat, and I'm always the somewhat hopelessly optimistic person who is always going to be trying to do my best to see the light, and to be the light that I want to see. And I firmly believe in equal and opposite reactions. And when you get a year this bad, maybe next year isn't going to be the best peak, but maybe like in 10 years, we go to a Bitcoin standard or something like this. Like there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction. I don't know how long it'll take or how bad it'll get, but I do think that it's always the darkest before the dawn, and that this has been the paradigm shift that I've been waiting for. It's when something like this really hits, it's hard. It takes time to process and for the mind to really wrap around everything, but things don't change until something like this happens. And this is what's going to be the effect of this. What's already I'm seeing already is that it's propelling us into the future. It's making people work at home. It's making us more okay with automation. It's making people just more sanitary, and there's a lot of good things. The neighborhoods are coming together more. We're starting to value our community more. We're valuing food, and like we're starting to really understand the value of actual things. And it's going to take something like this to happen. And I was always thinking it was going to be like World War III, and maybe it's not going to be nearly as bad. So I like to think that next year is going to be a great year, and I'm confident that it's going to be for me because I'm going to make it that way, and it's going to be for other people out there too. And I do think that a lot of that will be up to yourselves, and starting out the right way with a beach party to celebrate the all-time high in Bitcoin. Are you kidding me? It's going to be tough to get a bad year after that in comparison to how last year started, I would have to say. So that being said, Joe, why don't you go ahead and tell us just kind of what you've been seeing over the last week, and then what you're kind of seeing now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll jump to screen share here. Hope you enable screen share for me though.
You got it. See, all you got to do is ask and you shall receive.
Yeah. So welcome to some noise. The stereo's been bumping. So interesting note, we did get some strong gold mine before we moved into our kind of our latest all-time high, and did short that as a matter of fact. And I was with some peeps and some peeps shorted this, and it was unbelievable to have gotten out of this. I got out at the 3, in this 3 range, 28.3 range. So this was just a nasty breakdown that fortunately caught. And being a scalper, there's always that dream that you catch that trade that goes running forever. But got out clean, have some signals continuing. But this is where things are getting weird. Because after what I thought was likely leading us into an overextension, a lack of gold mine, in other words, is for a lot of this space up over here, we kind of lost the gold mine at the $26,000 range. It was crazy for me to see it pop up, and I think whale theories should really be on the table right now, because this is pretty much exactly what you'd want to see in a continuously moving upward trending market. You'd want to see price move, but then you'd want to see someone step up and create a price floor, right? While we're floating in outer space, as you and I discussed the theoretical nature of buyers and sellers being in a undiscovered price range. It's very interesting to see these kinds of fights break out, because now we have support. People are now saying, or at this point in time, we're saying that anything below 28K is mine. And it's just it's blowing my mind that this is the kind of move that we have fueling this run. So factoring in this little bit of info, the market's certainly in a state of extreme psychology, I would say. People are really going all over the place. The price has been choppy. We've seen this, and I was in a trade the other day. I mean, there was a trade that I was in where there was about 4 fat finger sells over the course of like an hour or something. It was really interesting. So it's a really weird time. People are getting taking profits. People are creating support, and there's just a lot of noise. So this is kind of one of those areas where I'm trading with less risk. I still am trading. Never going to get rid of that bug, or at least not in the foreseeable future. So I'm keeping my tools sharpened as a trader, but it is stressful. I don't like this range. I don't like the fact that there's so much noise if I'm shorting, you know, because I'm getting short signals. This is why I'm uncomfortable. I'm getting like the 1 to 2.5% band is my trade band. And so I'm getting short signals with 2.5 to 5% band. You know, there's a bit ask side dominance up against a, you know, 5 to 10% bid side dominance. It obviously had a couple pockets where that disappeared, which is interesting because as price moved down, the gold mine disappeared. I kind of would have expected it to stay yellow and then become orange or even disappear for just long enough for this to be a 1 to 2.5% band signal or something to that effect. So it's a little bit uncertain to me. This isn't as clear as this would have been if we would have had gold mines looking like this as we were, you know, running up and sustaining that, and obviously checking it even like this. I would be much happier. But us, you know, kind of getting flashy and turning orange. I gotta say, I'm a scalper. I'm gonna be taking my shorts and probably scalp out. But there's a big part of me that's feeling like, you know, I want to stay in a trade. And so I've been in this trade for about a day, 24 hours, probably, you know, around about now. And been short since about this point here, I would say. Didn't no, this is the one I took, and then I got back in maybe around, I don't know, I want to say it was here, but I think it was higher because I'm actually just above, I'm just barely in the money right now. It's tapping my break even, so I think I did add some leverage then, only up to 5x from two separate 2.5x entries brought my average to where we're resting now, my break even. So I'm running with tight stops. I'm running with low lev, and I have chosen to take a longer time horizon on this trade. Even though there's a lot of a voice in the back of my head saying don't do it. So I might exit this if we kind of come back down and check the gold mine. It might be time for me to exit. This probably would have been time for me to exit, to be honest. But you know, I'm just I'm trying out a swing with low lev and a stop loss. You know, that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. And but there's a lot of reason to be bullish. I definitely don't want to be caught in a short that puts me underwater and annihilates me. You know, so if you're going to be counter trading this, you know, clearly bullish, you know, wildly bullish trend, you know, this is obviously the CME chart with being that it has gaps, but it's pretty much vertical if you were to look at it on a daily chart. The only reason I didn't pull it up right away is because I've been watching XRP die with a smile. So you know, that's the only reason why I don't have Bitcoin up on this chart. But you know, the vertical run, we kind of we're used to these in Bitcoin, and we all kind of know what happens afterwards. Um, so I don't think that this means that we're at a vertical stage where we're due for a nasty pullback or the all-time high is going to lead us into a bear market for like Peter Dumbass Schiff is saying, you know. But I'm definitely cautious right now, cautiously optimistic about this run because there's going to be a point where something happens, the price comes down, price is going to come down. But there is a lot of support. So I would say this, that if we were to have a pullback, just a pullback, and not shift trend or, you know, really shake the market out, anything nasty, the 20Ks are substantial support. I mean, 26,000 was amazing, and we're only a few G's away from that. And so if we're pulling back and we nail 26, I mean, or at this point we're now talking gold mine, or you know, sputtering gold mine in the you know, 28 range. I mean, this is really looking clearly bullish to me. There's just a little part of me that feels comfortable taking some low lev shorts at the stop loss.
Very interesting. You seeing anything on any higher time frames that's
You know, if I look at this even on like a 4 hour, it's still just hard to tell. It's, you know, you still got gold mine, you still got sell signals, had a couple canaries. They did not lead you to death, but you know, as we did move up into this range, you can just clearly see that these orders are static. And I have been watching, by the way, the order book a lot as we were pushing through 29,000, 27,000, 27,500, which has a significant sell wall. You know, it might help if I drop time scale and pull up the order book top levels, which I need to pull. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to get order book top levels up here. Order book top levels. I've just been watching these levels get annihilated. I've physically been watching them not pull liquidity. I've been watching them get eaten alive, and so it's pretty interesting. 27.5 is this it? That's 28. So 27.5 had some juice. It was really a solid zone, and it just got annihilated. It was just what happened out of maybe 300 to 400 Bitcoin stops only triggered about 15 Bitcoin. So the wall wasn't even pummeled with the trigger of stops. It was pummeled with a cluster of market buyers, which makes this really interesting to me. And here we are getting another signal as we move up. But that made it very interesting to me to watch a lot of these critical levels. Like there's really not too many walls. I mean, look, 29,500 has a 365 pack. So a lot of these have been static up in this range, and they have been getting annihilated by market buyers, not even stops. Normally stops knock out a chunk of a wall. Like I'm not talking about 1% of it. I'm talking about, 50% of a zone where there's a lot of static liquidity. Stops are going to take out about half of that most of the time. And so the fact that we were bumping up against these levels and it was all market buyers taking us above has me very interested in any sort of overextension. The question that always comes to mind is, where's the money coming from? The answer, I think, right now is most likely institutional level money is entering the market. So yeah, I mean, it's not really been a pulling of liquidity. It's been a lot of eating through it. Obviously, we're watching spoofers go nuts right now, but I'm just talking about the notable walls. That's definitely been an exciting sight to see. Is people just coming in and market buying through them, loving the liquidity and without slippage, and just taking it. So it's been quite a market to watch, and yeah, I mean, what do I have to say about larger time scales? I mean, the only thing I really am concerned about would be sequential related. I mean, that's all I got. Um, to be 100% honest, the only thing that I have to present a bearish argument would be a monthly 9 sell. And we've blown through countless, maybe a little bit of action on some monthly 9 sells, but in a bull run so far. Oh wait, whoops. Sorry about that. 9 was dead. 9 was dead. 9 was killed. You were fucked on these 9s. Now we're sitting on a 9. To be honest, I don't really know what these fibs are for. I'm just gonna delete them. So we're sitting on a 9, and I mean, it's a pump 9. It's a 46% move to the upside this month, ending tonight.
Just compare that candle to the entire range of the bear market. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you just draw like a horizontal line on that candle. It's like comparable to the entire bear market.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So let's kind of just do something like this. I'm just going to include the candle low. But yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, this one move accounted for the entire parabolic run up in what, 2019?
Yeah.
So this one monthly candle has been one hell of a candle. And I can't dismiss that. But this 9 still, I mean, we've blown through so many. So I mean, why would I bet my buttons on this one? So it's I'm not really leaning too heavy into this 9 sell. I'm just presenting what I think would be the most likely short-term bearish scenario. I don't think the market would react poorly to a pullback right now, being that there's so much reason to have FOMO from a retail perspective or even an institutional perspective. Bitcoin just keeps moving up, and I always say you either get in voluntarily or you get in kicking and screaming. Right now, we're at getting in kicking and screaming levels, and that's still probably, this is low relative to 100K kicking and screaming levels, right? So, I mean, I can understand why this could continue to pump. The only thing that I'm worried about is this monthly 9 sell, and I almost have no reason to be being that I just haven't really seen a monthly 9 sell behave, you know. So anyways, that's just my large time frame perspective. I don't know if the weekly, yeah, it looks like we're walking our way up high, broke another 9. Yeah, this happened a while back. So, I mean, from a large time scale, all I can really bet on is, the vertical nature of this move having a pullback. And it's going to happen somewhere. I don't want to be a bear constantly entering shorts, so I'm just going to remain a scalper, mostly trend bias neutral, um, and focused heavily on the psychology and a lot more on the external variables that could be driving market price to these levels. I think that's more important to pay attention to. We know Sailor. We know he's probably connected. We know he's probably not the first, or he definitely isn't the first, but he's probably one of the most popular. Who certainly won't be the most popular, for all of Bitcoin's bull run. I think there's going to be a lot more names and faces that jump into this party with B's behind their name, billions and shit. So that's all I'm saying. I think that this run has a strong fundamental reason to be looking this bullish, but I'm very cautious. I mean, the thing is, if I was a whale, I would want the market to correct, and I would believe I would be able to make that happen. And I wouldn't want to buy halfway through that correction. I would want to buy at the bottom of it. And I don't know when they're doing this or what they plan to do, but I'm really curious because they keep supporting it. People keep jumping in and supporting this move. So it might not be till 50K that we get a pullback. It might not be till 100K that we get a pullback. So I'm just gonna keep, just humble corn farming, and I wish I could be more express more clarity on a longer time scale. But I mean, even looking at what I'm looking at now, this is a very uncertain space for me to as a trader. I'm happy to be getting consistent signals at this exact range, consistent 2.5 band signals up here. So it does mean something, and I'm taking the bet that it means that we're at least going to have another rip down. And I made one. I'll take another. Actually, maybe it was this one that I made. I'm losing track of my trades, man. Um, Losing track. I'm just trading so much. But yeah, there's been a ton of great signals, and I'm just not going to stop believing in them all of a sudden, especially these being my most conservative signals in my most recent work. So yeah, I think that kind of, I hope I didn't bore you to tears there. But that's kind of how I'm seeing things. I'm taking the trades, but I gotta say I'm more stressed out now than I was, a number of weeks ago, or so, when I was playing the top end of every, move and the bottom end of every move and making sometimes 3 trades in one candle. It's just not. I'm not feeling that confident anymore. So I'm taking the lowering the risk, and I'm just saving my fight for the right day, but definitely not ignoring the market and the opportunities it gives me.
Well, thank you very much for sharing, and that's why I always find it so fascinating getting your input, just getting to kind of peek inside the mind of somebody looking at smaller time frames and how people are seeing there, because in my mind, I know that a lot of people are shorting Bitcoin right now, and I'm trying to ask myself, like, who's doing it? Like, what are the reasons? What are they looking for? Because generally, when I can't understand who's on the other side of the trade, then that's when I'm going to get caught with my pants down. And I think that the short-term stuff is going to be it's going to get harder and harder to believe if we do kind of what is done in the past, in my opinion, as it will, the market will condition us to forget how hard and fast it can move, and when it makes a new all-time high, it will continue to accelerate, and that's when I would be expecting that the shorts just become more and more appealing, and somebody like Joe is able to manage those positions really well. He knows exactly where he's getting in and exactly where he's getting out, and the one thing that I want to just make clear is that for those of you that don't have a very, very, very objective system and know exactly where you're getting in, exactly where you're getting out, or have a very clear hedging strategy, I would very much stay away from trying to short a parabola.
This is something I've been saying, Tyler, that I believe in this market condition right now, instead of 5% of traders making money, it's probably a fraction of a percent of traders that are making money. This is a max pain market, a dangerous market to trade. And so I just wanted to just to add to you, I don't think that this is, you know, even a small percentage of people are winning. I think this is an even smaller percentage of people making winning trades. This is a max pain market right now. It's dangerous as hell. If you don't have the ability to trade with discretion and then resort to robotic mechanics, then be paper trading. Stay the fuck away.
And yeah, I would love everybody listening to really think about what Joe just said and really ask yourself, you know, think about your results and are you somebody who, you know, is labeled yourself a hodler who ends up panic selling and FOMO buying because that's not being a hodler, not even a little bit. And that's why the term was invented. And something that I have really realized myself recently, which is mind-bending to me, is that bull markets are where the most money is lost. And I firmly believe that, and I'd be happy to debate with anybody. But so it's a very common saying that everybody makes money in bull markets. But the bottom line is that trading is and the markets are zero-sum games. And if somebody's making money, then other people are losing. And when I was in like being like posting around on social media and being around all that, like maybe I've got a little better feel or different or whatever, but there was just no real much emotion for like 95% of the bear market. Everybody was just convinced that Bitcoin's going to 100,000. And if you posted a bearish chart, then they just told you to go to hell. And so there was just like nobody was doing any buying or selling. Maybe they made a couple longs and they got a couple paper cuts or whatever, and then they just kind of quit buying and decided, all right, I'm just going to hold on. And then the capitulation happened, and then that's where he found out who was actually able to hold on. And now that the bull market's happening, the emotions are like fucking 50-fold or 100-fold. The emotions of missing out, of FOMO and greed, especially in Bitcoin, maybe in traditional markets, like in bonds, like where people are just wanting to, you know, store money and store value. There isn't that much emotion in a bull market or per se, but in Bitcoin, people are mainly here at first because they wanted to make money. And that is what allows them to kind of just confidently hold through the bear markets. And once the bull market comes, that's when you get tested with those emotions where even when you're on the right side of the trade, you've got that nagging feeling of that you should have been longer, that you should have bought more. And that's where you go through that whole cycle again. And that's where I would just strongly advise everybody to think about, if you were here last time, if you were here in 2017 or earlier, try to think about what you felt then and what you learned and how you are acting differently now. Because if you're not doing anything differently and you were just sitting around that entire bear market thinking you're going to get rich if you could just still be here in the bull market, and then you look at your wallet and you realize that you've got less than 25% of the Bitcoin that you had, and you just simply cannot believe that the price is where it is, that's when I would strongly encourage you to think about dollar cost averaging. The way that money's made is not quick and fast in a year. The way that money's made is through pain and trial and effort and learning and evolving and committing and all that good stuff. So if you're really here to make money, and that's and you're noticing maybe that you're making some of the same mistakes, or you're noticing that you haven't vastly improved from the last time around, then I would encourage you to consider your goals and like your effort. If it's something you really, really want to do, yeah, like Joe said, paper trade, trade a very small amount. Geez Louise.
You getting alerts?
Yeah, sure enough. And now I don't know where it's coming from because of my damn screen's all mixed up. All right, I'm gonna have to mute and
I had one thing to share actually, so I'm gonna take advantage of this. one more thing on screen share that I wanted to point out was this. The bid-ask spread on aggregated spot markets did flip red, and it has been for a little bit of time now. The thing that's starting to worry me, though, is that the perpetual markets are literally at points in time here on the brink of a flip, which I haven't seen, I don't think, since I've been using this aggregated perpetual spread. I just have not seen a negative flip on the perps. That band confluence, if they're both green, is extremely bullish to me. In the event that they both turn red, I'm extremely bearish. So I just wanted to point that out, that we do have, you know, a red flag here, and I'm not very happy about it.
It's in
You
the
know,
future
if
market, you're saying?
yeah, perps. You know, people trade them with leverage. You know, I like to examine how spot markets are
But wait,
stacked and how.
were you talking about? I was muted there for a second, and I thought you were talking about futures, and then like the premium in the futures compared to the perpetual contract. Is that
No,
not?
no, I'm not looking at futures at all. I mean, here they are. Here's a handful, a couple Deribit, BitMEX. Not really too concerned about this, but I am concerned about the tightening of the bid-ask spread on aggregated perpetual markets. Those include things like BitMEX, you know, you know, whatever is out there. Deribit, right? I'm kind of drawing some blanks here, but yeah, there's a handful of exchanges that I have selected here. And if this flips negative, I'm really going to be curious about seeing how this plays out, because a dual band confluence green would have me very bullish. A dual band confluence red would have me the exact opposite. Um, and this signal is very strong, very strong signal up here. This is looking funky. This is looking
Well,
funky.
I'm gonna have to, I guess, take it over from you. I've got some alerts calling my name, and I want to go ahead and share a couple charts real quick. I apologize for cutting you off, but
No. I took the advantage while you were handling business for a sec.
yeah, thank you, and that is much appreciated. So yeah, I guess, long story short, as I'm more looking at a lot of the longer term stuff, and just
Oh,
not.
Fibbo won't make it, by the way.
Oh, appreciate it, and thanks for checking. So yeah, I'm not going to be, if there's money to be made on a short where there's a $300 move down, then that's just not anything that I'm going to be looking for or seeing. Whereas I'm really going to be focusing on the longer term stuff, and what I have been looking at for the major signals in major, like maybe 6-month tops and bottoms, that sort of stuff. And there have been some times where on the show I was talking about expecting major pullbacks and entering significant hedges, either shorting to hedge against spot longs, or by taking a lot of profit on the spot longs. And that is, something that, again, I was prepared with plans and objective strategies for entering and exiting those hedges. And I am, able to now be back into a full long, and happy about it, because I'm seeing a lot of good signs that the market is ready to continue moving up. And as those alerts have triggered, potentially you can see me getting a little excited, because I was waiting for some of these prices. So let's take a look here real quick.
We just hit an all-time high, by the way.
Boom. Love it. Okay, so anybody that has been following Hyperwave, that's read the Hyperwave book, probably this might jump out to them as a pretty textbook fractal pattern, because it is not on the weekly chart. It is only on the 4-hour, and it is approaching a point where it could be entering a new phase, which is why I'm trying to stay calm, cool, and collected here, as I've got some big positions on the books. I'm not only in full spot long, but also in the leveraged long, as well as I got some good signals, and
And the XRP short, of course.
as a matter of fact, no, I actually did get stuck in a bit of an XRP long there,
Oof.
which was unfortunate, but it was all part of a play where I had a big short on some alts, and then kind of bought that as a situation where I felt like if alt mooned, then it could really help me out on the shorts that I had on the alts, and of course it gets the news that I couldn't expect, and now I would love for a bounce to get out, but if it doesn't happen, the market's gone up so much that I have really almost forgotten about it by now. So here we are with a 1, 2, 3, and looking for potentially a number 4 if we don't return to this trend line here and are able to really sustain these highs. And yeah, I mean, it's not the, well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. There's still plenty of time, and this is just a fractal, mind you. So this would be a small pattern within a pattern, and as I outlined on the last show, I am actually just viewing this as potentially the very beginning of an actual phase 2. So Tyler only looked at hyperwaves on the weekly chart and didn't even really look at them anywhere else until really starting the, I think, Hyperwave Telegram group. And here I've been kind of keeping my eye on a very textbook phase 1. This is above, but we would say that phase 1 starts here, and all closes below, horizontal, and then you smash right through. And phase 2 is not textbook because of the angle. A phase 2 should be something like this, but we have seen things like this happen before. And what's super interesting to me are the angles of these wicks. That's what I would be using to kind of draw in that trend line, and any real major dumps, that's where I would be expecting support to be found. And as we see that it continues to move off of that trend line, that's where I want to be very, very ready to take profit and look to re-enter near here, and drawn a new one here to say like a phase 2, 3. Nah, that's not going to work. You need a correction. You need red candles. You need a pullback to actually have a bottom trend line. So seeing a lot of bullish stuff. We do have an untested prior all-time high, which I am very, very curious to see if that gets retested, because that is one thing that's been on the very forefront of my mind that I think I talked about last time, in that I don't follow the CME gaps. I never have, but I follow gaps and price action very closely. And the thing that's been burned in the back of my mind since 2017 was this gap that we had that I think I mentioned years before I ever heard of Tyler Jenks' name. I was telling my friends why I was really thinking that it was going to 1,000. Because this is that's the thing. So the thing about gaps is when you have a gap in price action where you break through and you fail to turn prior resistance into support, what makes them hard to trade is that you don't know how long it can take to retest for support or how far it can go. And therefore, it's something I always keep in the front or back of my mind when there is this action that leaves, it's untested. And I think that now I've realized that's just kind of Bitcoin, because it halves, and then in the past it's also done that. So when it makes new all-time high after like a 2 or 3 year bear market, we have seen the situation where it just fails to even throw back, and it just explodes very far away. So if we just take a fib from the top of that one there to the bottom, we notice how the move that smashed through the all-time high right here and failed to throw back to retest, what it did was it also smashed through the 2 extension. When you drew a fib with the all-time high to the low of the bear market, and just doubled that. So you say like from 20K to 3K, and then you just add that, that's 37K or so. It smashed through that. And then what did it do is that it threw back perfectly to the 618 of that old one, where it dropped all-time high to the low, 2 extension, you break through, and then throw back right to that 618. And then that's where you kind of get the parabola. And that's the thing that I pay such close attention to, is because the unfilled gaps is what gives you the parabola. When you have action that is linear, where you consistently throw back to retest the highs for support, that's when you have like a channel. But when you fail to do that time and time again, that's where you get the gasoline for a parabola. And that's where it just can get harder and harder to believe, as anybody thinking to the Wall Street cheat sheet, as that becomes very popular in the upward phases. What's the ending phase? It's disbelief. It's disbelief that the market can do this after how long it took to do that, and then also just how mentally taxing this is, and then that's where the parabola comes in. So will be interesting to see here if we are, as Joe had the monthly chart up, it gave me a really interesting idea, which the S&P right now is used, the only one that's used for a monthly hyperwave. And I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that that's what Bitcoin's headed due to the implications, but that's the only thing that really makes sense to my mind's eye. When I look at that hyperwave on the weekly, it's just like, it's too steep. It just doesn't quite make sense yet. I need to wait. Whereas this just makes a lot of sense. And if it's something that happens on a time scale that's 4 times as large, it implies a lot about price. So this is going to be something that I'm keeping a very close eye on, as we have these huge, dildo candles. When's the last time you heard about those? Here we go again. Here's an area I'd be looking at for a big correction. And then especially if it lines up with some fibs like we see here and here. So what I'm seeing from EMASAR, it was interesting how Joe talked about being on the right side of a big dump and how great that was. And here I'm thinking about how this damn thing just hasn't even returned to the 1 hour buy zone, which is great for me being fully positioned in spot and leverage longs. So last time it hit the 1 hour buy zone was back here at 22,000 on around Christmas, and just kissed off of it pretty perfectly. Let me go ahead and check
You
off.
also got a tip, by the way. I'll interrupt you after you're done with your train of thought again.
Now we're talking. You can always interrupt me to tell me I got money coming.
Well, you got money coming, my friend, from a handsome man named Todd, KTH.
TODD. Happy New Year's to you. Thank you very much, and it's always appreciated. Thank everybody for your support. Everybody for tuning in, for clicking the thumbs up, for sharing. Because just like Bitcoin, I'm sure Joe will agree, social media, there's bull and bear markets, where when you get into the bear markets of people just talking shit and you're not getting any new followers or whatever the case may be, whatever you're trying to accomplish, there will be times where you really question if it's all worth it. And people like Todd and the others of you who are still here listening are the ones that make it worth it. So, okay, here was, I think, where Joe was talking. You got a nice sharp move down. And what I'm seeing is that we haven't even returned to the beach. And a reason why I'm kind of looking for maybe an acceleration in the that hyperwave fractal that I was originally sharing is that price here, we're sticking above the 50 EMA on my smallest time frame. So the 1 hour is the smallest time frame, and the biggest moves will happen when you get stuck between the sky and the 50 EMA, or then you get actually into the sky, like we see kind of here, and here. So the fact that we have consolidated here over the last 4 or 5 days without even returning to the 1 hour beach and just getting strong support on each pullback, and now that we're already at a new all-time high, I'm not going to get tired of saying that for a while.
Shibley giving you some love too. 10.
Shibley, shout out. We got disc golf planned at the all-time high party. You should come join. We already got the course picked out, and I'm talking Fibbo into some big action. And he's a fish. Don't tell him I said that, but come join us. Okay, I need some long-term trend lines here. Just wanted to share just taking a look at the target I shared last week, because what's really important to me is potentially what we're seeing here. So I was sharing the target of 30K by January, like the 3rd, 4th week of January. Let's see here, 26th of January. And I shared where it gets invalidated. If we move too far sideways here, or if we dump too low here, the target's invalidated. But I failed to share where the target gets accelerated. And that's if we break through the top one here, which has me feeling extra excited as I'm getting these alerts going off. So if we get through the top one here, that's where I expect that real euphoric acceleration, which would imply a bigger price. And this is where I'm kind of out of targets, because we had the original symmetrical triangle, which was shared quite a while ago.
Hey, Sock, just so you know, one of your tips did come with a ticker.
One of the tips? You're saying I got 2?
Yeah.
Well, hot damn.
MMEDF ticker.
MEDF?
MMEDF.
PDF? What?
Yeah, M is in Michael, M is in Michael, E is in Edward, D is in dildo, F is in Frank.
Oh, Mind Medicine Inc. Okay, all right. The longer the ticker gets, the more you start wondering what the scam is. But all right,
what time frame are you on here?
So that was that chart you were just telling me. So this is just a 4 hour, but so this is originally what my targets had been, was the 30K by the end of January, followed by 21K in September 2021. And if we accelerate beyond this top trend line, for me, that accelerates this move like hugely. Like think about 21K by September 2021, like that's another 9 months of dragging down in an ABC correction type of fashion. This is just, like, of course anything could happen, but this is in my mind, what I'm thinking is that's what would be like the Max Payne situation that would get the FOMO buyers to, puke out at the bottom, whatever the case may be. Whereas this would all become invalid if we shoot through here. And actually, this is where I would be looking for the next pullback to be, which would leave that very similar gap, which I was originally showing at the top of the hour. So let's see, I guess more the middle of the hour. The other thing I would be looking for, the sky starting to turn up, paying close attention to the angle of the moon. I notice when it kind of rolls over and starts moving down, this is where I'm starting to look for, buying here and getting worried and this and that. Once it starts moving up, moon, I got some new moon socks for anybody interested with the American flag on them. So that's pretty big deal for me. As we were talking about some cool purchases, go check my Twitter if you want to see the American undies that I recently bought, because they are fucking awesome. I immediately had to buy some more as I hear Joe slamming on his keyboard. Okay.
I'm in chat.
Okay, that was just that was good time because that was funny. Check this if you want to see the undies. Okay, so taking a look back at the 4 hour, we haven't even sniffed the 4 hours since the last one, and then again that was just right there beautifully. Nice support, and again I think I remember describing how I missed this one. I don't know what happened. I think I just missed it by a few bucks. Maybe I was late with the orders. Yeah, I think I just missed it. But then I was just super fortunate to catch that guy. So that's got me feeling really good right now. And it just happened on Kraken where I'd missed and then I had adjusted, and then you get this weird wick where how many times you're on the wrong side of these things, so you can't feel too bad about being on the right side every now and again. And if I didn't catch that, it would have been tough to catch this. I forget why. I was out of town or something. Yeah, I was out of town. So here we are with the EMASAR. Notice how it was really thinning and getting weak to like a point where there's like a weak point in the market where it's in danger of reversing. And I was really talking about that. And now it's thickening back up. Notice how the underworld moving away, ocean thickening, beach thickening. This is support thinning to where it's like we really need support to move up and this market to accelerate for this to remain intact. Otherwise, this is just going to probably fall right through. But now we see that it's thickening back up. And again, this was designed for the parabolic markets, and I haven't had the chance to really use it since the market got in any way, shape, or form that could be considered parabolic. Okay, so I think that's going to basically do it for me. I'll take a quick look at this chart. There must be a reason why I'm looking at it. MMEDF. So one cool thing that I did is I turned my desk here into a chalkboard. So I got it was like $5 for like a thing that I could tape anywhere. I could tape it anywhere. And now, like I always had the sticky notes, the to-do lists, and all this and that, and then you'd be forgetting all this and this and that, and forgetting what's important. So now I've got my two to-do lists. The first one where it's like whatever's on the top of my mind. If there's something really on my mind, I write it down because it's something that I probably need to do. But then if there's something that I feel like is important to, like I want to do quickly, it's on the chalkboard because it's on my desk, because it'll start getting smudged and rubbing shit everywhere that if I don't get it done quickly, then, then that's a problem. So highly recommend to anybody that doesn't use a to-do list. That is a huge way to increase productivity, in my opinion. And this is interesting. That's just the 1 hour. Yeah, that's very interesting. So yeah, I would for me, I would say that pencil in a phase 2 type of situation. You've got this compression of a phase 1. Yeah, and you could even say that this kind of looks like Bitcoin a little bit, where you smash away from the phase 1, and then you keep kind of wondering where you you're kind of penciling in, and then it moves back, and then finally becomes more a little bit better defined, and then it really takes off. So yeah, I would say this is a phase 3. A retest of a phase 3 is the that's where you want to buy per Tyler Jenks rules. So this is very good. See, here's where I'd be penciling it in. When you break through this high, you smash through, and then you get this correction here. This is where I pencil it in, and this is where I'm very wary of it simply just being like an extension from the phase 2. So when you're still like kind of, in this same area, these extensions from the phase 2 can really every time look like it's a new phase, right? Like right here. So that's where you just really got to pay attention. It can be really tricky, and I mean, you really got to study this shit. It's not something like the more people ask me about all of it, it's just the more I know that they haven't studied it, and it's so important. Like the markets in this world are so parabolic right now that for me, that's the most important thing, is understanding parabolic theory and all of the parabolic theory that is available. And there isn't much. So this is where I would be penciling it in. And this is where it's confirmed, is when you throw back to prior resistance. So here we have the resistance of the phase 2, and then here we throw back. And notice how like crazy this looks. You know, like this looks crazy. You just go from 35 cents to $1. You know, you're up 300% in like a couple months. It's just insane, right? And then here's like the resistance that never really kind of throws back to, and then you break the trend line, and that's where everybody, you know, there's always a lot of selling pressure when you break a trend line, and then you out of nowhere maybe establish this new one above where maybe EMASAR would tell you to get out. That's where I'd be very much looking for the first entry in EMASAR to be with the trend line, and the double down to be on a breakdown, and then the stop loss to keep us in it on a move like this. And then here, you know, you pencil it in again, but you need it to break through this top of this channel here. You break through, and then, even here, I mean, here it gets pretty real, but like up in here, you're still very weird, because it will a lot of the times do the peekaboo boom. So you got to be very wary. Where it really becomes real is on this action exactly right here. So whoever shared this chart, I'm not sure
Todd.
exactly why you shared it. Was that TODD?
TODD with the tip.
Oh, my man. So generally,
he paid you to buy a fucking what a great chart, right?
I'll tell you what, and this is kind of how I view all of what we're doing here, is in a karmic way. And I will generally, I don't like when people share charts, because generally they're just wanting to, you know, whatever. But I kind of like the idea of doing a show where it's like, if you send me a tip, I'll look at your chart, and then the ways that, and then sometimes when you come across the good charts, it makes it well worth, you know, worth 10 times what anybody could have tipped you if they. One good guy sends you one good chart for whatever reason. So here, this is what I look for as we were kind of looking at the price targets in Bitcoin right now. I'm looking for the intersections of trend lines, and those being key critical areas to me, to where if we fall right through it, then this comes back as resistance, and this is no longer penciled in. So I would still say that this should kind of be penciled in, because this could still obviously break through right here, but now it's looking much less likely to me once this starts moving this way, and we're seeing some good signs from this area. So first of all, this is what I would use as the time and price target, and then I would know where exactly I'm going to abandon that to the low end and to the high end, and then I would start drawing the trend lines to the other direction, using the lows and highs. And this is where you have to do it. When the trend line's super obvious, that's when there's no money to be made trading it, right? And if you're afraid to adjust your trend lines because you don't have good objective rules, well, you're not going to make money trading trend lines. So here's a really good example of what I'm seeing. Is when I was so zoomed out, I was like thinking that this, you know, that this was all the phase 1. But once I kind of zoomed in, now I can see, okay, it's a very nice 2, and a very clean throwback, which could still break through. But as far as I'm concerned, this is the weight of this one starting, looks like it's starting to take over. So I would say that, again, it's for me, all about risk reward. If you enter here, where's you're going to be your stop? You know, maybe it's somewhere in here, depending on where your risk tolerance is. Maybe use a Fibonacci, whatever. And then you see that, you know, maybe the risk turns out to be 40%. Does that mean I'm not going to enter? No, it means I'm going to enter a small position. And then also just the accumulation cylinder, along with like kind of the Elliott wave type of theory, where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you expect another one. Yeah, that's something that's on my chalkboard. I don't know if there's anything else I can say. Okay, stop the screen share. So this has been a lot of fun. you can only have so much fun talking to the chat by yourself, because then you always miss the best stuff. And there's been many times, well, who am I kidding? I've only gotten a handful of tips. There's been a handful of times where I've gotten a tip, and then later somebody told me, oh, he wanted you to look at this, or he asked you for that. And it was like, oh, like somebody just asked me like what camera I'm using to record, and he tipped like $10. And I just didn't see it, and I felt so bad that I still have never gotten back to him. So hopefully he's watching right now, because it's simply the iMac computer is all. It's just the standard stuff that's there. So having you here to keep me company and to help me think of good nicknames, and then to give me the input from the chat, specifically when there's tips, and keeping the other stuff to yourself. I mean, shit, we got it made. What a happy new year.
Cheers to that, my friend. Clink.
Well, I'll cheers my my e-cig with your hookah, and I will bid everyone a happy new year. I'm trying to find the chat. Like, I'm the type of guy where I've got 50 tabs up at all times, but I always know exactly where everyone is. And then once I start the streaming, I start the moving the stuff around, and that's where my head starts going crazy. Like you guys might have seen as that second alert went off, it was like that crazy part of my brain was like that lizard brain was like, because if I don't know exactly where that's coming from, I start to freak out a little bit. So I am sorry if I'm missing anybody's good comments, because
No, don't worry. I've been handling that business. Well, you might have missed some love, but don't worry. I was saying hi to everyone for you.
Oh, thank you, and know that if Joe said hi to you, then that's a hi from me, because if you're a fan of Joe, then I'm a fan of you. So I hope that everybody is going to have a happy new year, and because I always like to not only be optimistic but also kind of be the contrarian. Let's finish off by saying, what was your favorite part about 2020?
All right, I have another thing that I want to finish off on, but my favorite part of 2020.
We're finishing on something optimistic, so you can, if it's a not
No,
optimistic.
it's optimistic, I promise. My favorite part of 2020. Fuck. I gotta say, I think with the help of Trader, I took order book analysis to a much, much higher level. And as a result, I've not only been able to help myself make money in particularly dark times, as as we all, I'm sure a lot of people know, things aren't easy in my life right now. And it's just been so great that that Trader came into my life, reached out to me, and I was able to work with them and build, SAS signals, and not only help other people, but I gotta say, it's trading when you're dealing with a lot of baggage is tough, and it's great to have been able to enhance this research and really just that's been my work. It's been my work for 3 years now. And so to take it to the next level and to have the support of an amazing community, to be half the reason, I guess, that I'm streaming and driving me to those levels. I'm thankful to the people that are here, thankful to the Bitcoiners that will celebrate this all-time high with, and I'm sure many others, and just to a community that really respected one another when probably most of us were alone in this endeavor. So cheers to you all, and I respect you all for your bravery and your courage to make your self-sovereign decision to enter this market, as an investor, as a trader, whatever. But to do it, and I'm sure against a lot of a lot of people. So cheers to you all, and I'm happy that we're able to be here to serve you, and yeah, that's what I'm happy about.
Well, I
for
appreciate you saying that, and one thing that I've got so many things to be grateful for this year, and I don't want to say that when I know that so many people are struggling, but that's just something I've noticed in my life, is that my good years tend to come on bad years for other people. For example, when the stock market crashed in 2008 and everybody was freaking out, I was dropping out of college and moving to Vegas to play poker and feeling like I was living a dream. And as Joe stepped away, hopefully he'll hear this, but maybe he doesn't need to.
I'm listening.
Okay, so that's the one thing that I've realized is that you know, we're all going to have our good years and our bad years, and that even the bad years have a highlights. So there's ebbs and flows to life. The life is a frequency, and when there's equal and opposite reactions, and within those there's waves, just like in the charts. If you're used to watching the 4-hour chart, you can zoom into the 1 hour or the 15-minute or the 5-minute or the 1 minute, and no matter what time frame you look at, no matter which direction the market's going, if it's going down, there's still going to be ups, and if it's going up, there's still going to be downs. And that is something that I have you know, just been paying very close attention to, is how Joe has been handling his downs, because I know that this has been a major down year for him, potentially, you know, as bad as it gets. And I would encourage anybody watching who's curious or anything to look into the 9-year cycle, because this was something that really helped me to understand how the cycles in my life are sometimes out of my control. And no matter how hard I try, no matter how much I do, sometimes it's going to be a down year. And that's where it's actually most important to, that's where the universe is actually asking you, what are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Are you going to keep working? Or are you going to stick to your morals? That's really what, you know, bear markets ask you. If you claim to be a hodler in 2017, did you just use that to not take profit because you couldn't believe how much the price was going up and you just didn't know what to do with yourself, so you decided that, and then you didn't stick to your morals on the way down? Or did you? And if you did, then you should be more euphoric now than you were at the top in 2017, because the price is much higher and there was so much time to accumulate more. And Joe's just been going through a really hard time. And what I've noticed is that he has stuck to his morals, most importantly. But then also he's kept doing what he's doing, is that, you know, like streaming on YouTube and all this stuff, as I mentioned before, like there's ebbs and flows of that, where it can be really easy to give up on that, to give up on the things that used to get you excited, that used to make you get up in the morning, that you used to dream of doing. Like there was a couple of years ago where Joe dreamed of having a YouTube channel, and then this year the universe asked him, how much do you really want it? And it asked him that about that a lot of things, like about trading. He could have easily decided that I'm not going to be trading anymore, and that's what a lot of people do for any reason. I've done it in my own life for different reasons like this. So I know that this has been a very hard year for you, Joe, and I know that the the darkness is pulling at you, because that's where it likes to attack. And you're a fucking tremendous fighter, and you're continuing to fight it off. And I know that it may continue to get darker before it gets lighter, but it's always darkest before the dawn, and that's a physical fact. And the darker it gets, the brighter it's going to be. And so I am very glad that you're here with me, and I will just try to pick from what I'm so appreciative of, outside of all the great new relationships that I've developed. EMASAR Trader Mode is something that is now in the world. It's created, and it wasn't before this year. And I believe that people are going to use it long after I die, which is, to me, that's the philosopher's stone. Immortality is just having people find value in your work after your death. So if I was actually able to accomplish that this year, that would be a goal that and that's the other thing. You never know if it will be accomplished, because you'll be dead, and that's kind of the beauty of how this crazy life works. And that's the other thing about Joe, as well as Fibbo, is that Fibbo, he created an incredible system, but that it's been around for a while, and he's been showing proof of how well it works, day in and day out, market in and market out. And Joe and I were more coming out of the cocoon in terms of we just developed these things, and that was the first thing that he mentioned was having Trader. And I remember talking to him in Bali about how excited he was. And I just know for a fact that all of this that was in his mind that's now on a chart, now that his eyes see it, he's going to make new connections and he's going to get better, and he already is. And anybody that's been watching has seen it. And that's what's been happening with me as well, is getting this on a chart for me. So, and I'm happy to, I guess, babble on about positivity here towards the end of the new year, because it is a collective consciousness, and I do believe that what we put out there comes back, and that a lot of people are going through a very hard time with a lot of questions right now in their lives, and really looking inward, and that's exactly what you should be doing, is look inward and stick to your morals. And if your morals are fucked, well, you're going to end up in a bad XRP long.
Yeah. Oh shit! You had fucked morals for 5 minutes, and that's what happens. Don't even. Oh man, yeah. That's also one of the funny ones. I took that short. Oh my goodness, it is a funny short. I was so happy to finally be able to trade an altcoin that was on its way to altcoin death. That's been one of the happiest actually experiences in the past week. But I also want to note, dude, I can't wait for the all-time high party. I'm like driving there. I'm getting my car, everything, just roll one last check to make sure that it'll be great for a road trip, because I'm not easy on that thing. It's you live once, right? So I'm a dude that does things. So anyways, I'm getting one last check on the car, and then I'm gonna be flying down south, dog, in with wheels, but flying. And I can't wait to get there. I do plan on getting there maybe even a little early, hopefully a day or two early, maybe stay a couple days late. I mean, I hope we have such good vibes there and good people. I can't wait. I hope this is even almost the intimacy level that we had, with certain groups of people at Unconfiscatable. I'm really hoping we can get a good, solid group of people there to just build these beautiful bonds with that we'll remember forever. Everyone that I met at Unconfiscatable is someone that I really connected to and built a strong relationship with. And I really hope that a small, more intimate party like this will bring the same thing. And the advantage is it doesn't cost a damn thing except your gas or your ticket, and your lodging, and we're hanging out and we're fucking gonna be chilling. So I just can't wait to sit back on a, you know, chair outside again under the sun and smoke a cigar and, just kind of reflect and not really be so focused on the grind. It's been a long time. We don't take these breaks very often, a lot of us. And I hope a lot of you realize that and take this advantage to come out and just see some of the beauty in life. And one of those beauties is going to be the personal connections we'll be making. So I really, really look forward to this trip. I'm coming, like I said, one way or another. If I have to fucking jog, I'll be jogging. I'm coming, I'll be there. And I really hope that we have a good, solid group of at least 10, 15 plus people. I hope to make some really good friends there.
It's going to be great. And we already have a great guest list, and I cannot wait either. I can already picture it in my mind, and it is going to be the party that I wanted way better than I wanted. And if there's any artists out there, if there's anybody that can put this image in my mind together, I'll pay for it. And if there is anybody out there, I'm going to find somebody to do it. So here's what we're looking at is first of all, it's like the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Like that's Joe driving. He's driving to the party. But instead of driving like he's driving with his knees are driving and then he's playing his electric guitar while he's driving down, going like 150 miles an hour. That's the trip to just to get there. And then once you're there, the other picture I have in my mind is my favorite part yet is shout out to Bernoulli, who's going to be there, and he's pulling up in an RV and parking in the parking lot. So that's the other image in my mind, is this big badass 10-bedroom beach house with everything you can imagine, with like a hippie RV out front, like a hippie Volkswagen RV RV like already, like I'm not even there yet, and it's the best party ever. So it's going to be great, and it's just because of the people that show up and the people we've already met. Another shout out to Mark and Kent, who's going to be there. Anybody that tuned into the poker games that we did in the depths of the lockdown will know Mark and Kent from that, old snapper Kent and Mark. So that'll be a lot of fun to get to shoot the shit with those guys live, because I know I had a lot of fun just shooting the shit with you guys over the computer.
Yeah, I agree. Plenty of shooting the shit fun. Sorry, I was just getting more coals to light my hookah. But yeah, I mean, shooting the shit is pretty much. I mean, I don't really leave this office. It's gonna be fun, and I will make sure to take a video. I'll have. I think I'm coming with a +1 friend, and I'm gonna have him try to get his phone to videotape my top speed. I'm gonna try to fucking top that motherfucker out. So I'm gonna be rolling in with some baller shit, I hope.
That's I mean, you show up in style, like you can't help it. Like you could try not to, like you show up early and you're still showing up in style.
Fashionably late is still early.
Yeah, you're fashionably early.
Hey, Bernoulli actually shared his since you were talking about his RV. Oh man, I don't know if I could pull those pictures up, but Sokka, I'll make sure you get them. In fact, Bernoulli could probably do the same. But yeah, they're
Telegraph, because anybody knows me knows that I'm on RV guy.
You're an RV motherfucker, dude. It's hardcore. The first thing when I said I was buying a car, Tyler said was, "Yo, man, they make these." He's spitting out his shit right now. He's spitting out his drink. He's spitting out his drink. Oh my god. Okay,
No,
the
man,
first thing
you can totally like live in your car, man.
yeah, he was like, oh, he started sending me pictures of like full-on computer setups and like multi-monitor RVs with like the back room being a full-on command center, and he was just like it's almost like he was like he has a buddy that was trying to dump his, and he was like, yo, you got to get this. He was it was so funny. He was really pushing that idea.
It was like I was trying to tell you a lemon, like is how much I wanted you to buy it. Like the only reason I wanted it was because I know how much like there's I wanted you to join the tribe. You know, like there's a tribe of people that own RVs and know what it's like to be able to, like I'll get into it for real right now. Is that I always in my life wanted to own an RV. Like I always had that pull in my heart that told me to own an RV. And then when I made some good money in 2017, and I started to, instead of thinking about making good money, like how am I actually going to protect this good money? And one of the critical part, like there were 3 things to my like retirement plan. It was to own Bitcoin, gold, and an RV. Because I felt like if shit really hits the fan and it really falls out like really, really, really bad, kind of like I was talking about at the top of the show, like the Great Depression, you know, in an exponential fashion, because we have moved in an exponential fashion, then I want a house on wheels where I can drive up into the mountain and park next to a lake and grab my fishing pole and a fucking lighter and have internet from my phone if those companies still are around. And I've got everything I need. I've got literally in my safe, I've got, you know, my ledger and my money, and I've got seeds, like so I could go plant a garden for when
That's
I'm
hilarious.
moving out of my RV. Like this
Dude,
is.
I feel like we need like coordinates. We need like a Bitcoin coordinates, you know,
Yes.
GPS coordinates,
Yes.
where Bitcoiners meet up and pull in with their RVs and their wheels and their weapons and their bullets and their fucking Bitcoin, and we create our own little forest citadel and seeds, of course.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that would be really cool. I think we should make some Bitcoin coordinates.
Yes. Now I'm picturing a meme. It's Bender, and it's like you know like fuck you. We're gonna create our own bank with RVs. Like where we've got a collective stash where only the people we know and trust are there, and you contribute your portion. You know, you don't put all, you just put a little there, and if you've got some there, then you know that this is the spot you can come to, and you've already paid the fee to get in. And if Joe's going to be showing up with a gun, then I'm not
What do you
gonna.
mean? What do you mean a gun?
If Joe's going to be showing up with a trunk full of guns, then I'm not going to have to worry about too much about defending my RV with my slingshot here. Because I'm not sure how many people I could fight off from the RV with the slingshot. That's my travel weaponry. Yep. Yeah, anybody that owns a gun and knows how to play a guitar, like, this is somebody I want to hang out with. So if you're listening to this and you fit in that category, the first, like, I'll buy you 2 dinners to come hang out, because Joe is my kind of guy. And as we're continuing to ramble on this New Year's Eve, I think it maybe is good, as there's probably a lot of people without a whole lot to do after everything that's gone on. I'll share something that Joe just made me think of, which is my favorite new piece of art that I have.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it? And it's made out of sand. It's so it's all made out of natural materials from the area, and it's like in there. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And it was like fucking $70 or something. Like, if you want, anybody out there wants beautiful art, go to the Indian reservation in New Mexico, drive down the I-40, just take any exit and just go to any trading post, and you're going to find just unbelievably cool stuff. So the reason why I'm showing this is because Joe made me think of it. And why I bought this is because, to me, this is the best example in art of the most important term that I know or understand, or that I live my life by, and that's the Greek term arete, A-R-E-T-E. And it's something that we don't really have a word for it in English, but my philosophy professor described it to me very well, by saying that if anybody that's ever come across a dog, like, that's had a dog, like, you've said good dog, and you've also said bad dog. So you know what it is that is a good dog and what it is that is a bad dog. So write that out, like, what makes a good dog. So you write it out. And then anybody listening to this, I mean, it's a really good practice. I would strongly recommend it. And I'm going to share with you mine here. So write out what is then a good human. What makes a good human? If there were aliens that were watching us and they were as dogs, like, as we watch dogs, like, just kind of picture that maybe as God, whatever. If there's something else watching us, Santa Claus, whoever it may be, what would be on his list of what is and is not a good human? And for sure, it'd be different at different ages. But for you now and yourself, what is a good human? And that's what this is to me. This is the perfect example of a arete. This is a guy who he is in war paint. He's on his horse. He's connected with his horse. He is a very fierce warrior. I mean, if you come out with an atomic bomb, there ain't going to be much you can do. But, like, hand-to-hand combat, if we're going to look at the fiercest warriors that have ever existed in real, true combat, the type that really makes you a man, that helps you to evolve. These guys, the Indians were a very, very good example of a warrior. And furthermore, what's he doing here? I think he is he's like playing a flute. Like he's like, it's like he's got an instrument. He's got his spear here, but he's also it's with the wind. It's like he's got like a lot of Indians also are into instruments and play the flute specifically, and drums. This is a traditional Native American drum. So the Native American warrior is also a really good musician. And then what does he also have back here with his arrows and spears? Is he's got he's packing a peace pipe. Like what's this guy doing? Like he's ready to go to war with anybody. Like talk about an evolved human. Like he's ready to go to war. But the first thing he wants to do is just smoke a peace pipe with you. Like, you know, like he's been to war and he knows that that ain't what he wants to do today. So he's going to offer up the peace pipe. But if you know, if you're the type of person that needs to, you know, be in war against or whatever, he ain't ready. He ain't afraid. He's ready in the blink of an eye, and he is not afraid even a little bit. And then also what this makes me picture is a dancer. Indians are also great dancers. They're out there. So to me, that is a Reet is somebody that is a fearsome warrior who is going to offer up a peace pipe before they're going to fight you. And then they're also going to play songs and dance with you. So Joe very much reminded me of that with pulling out that big gun after pulling out the guitar a few weeks ago. And I think that is really cool.
As you're talking about it, it reminds me of when I confronted Ven Zen and then sat down next to you to play ukulele for a bit.
Yes. Wow. Wow, that takes it even a step further. Yeah, yeah, totally. Because yeah, so there we were, and hopefully, as I'm in this mood, I don't end up oversharing or whatever. But there we were in Bali, and you know, just looking back to myself and thinking, was I a good example of a human? And there were ways that I was. I stood up for what I believed in, and all of this, but I was not wanting to go confront him, which I wasn't seeing the utter importance of that. Maybe almost certainly because of just my discomfort of confrontation. So for anybody that doesn't know, Ven Zen's just somebody who scammed some people and that was at a party that we were at and that said some things and that we made sure was not going to be a part of, you know, anything else again that we were a part of. And then for me, that was enough. And that's where I felt good about it. But Joe confronted him, and that was so critical because a main thing that started to bother me, or that I just had to think about afterwards, was how we kind of did a show and we outed him without giving him the chance to defend himself or that sort of thing. Like that's like what a lot of people were saying. Like he was there in the chat. Like we very easily could have just like let him on to share his side, which I was there and I heard what he said. And I know, you know, from everything we know, we just felt there was no reason to do that. But the reason why I actually felt good about it at the end of the day was because of how Joe confronted him, because Joe did confront him and he did get the chance to share his side. And because of that, I was able to, you know, very much rest at ease in my conscience for, you know, ruining somebody's ability to make a living, essentially, or playing a big part in that. And if Joe wouldn't have confronted him and I wouldn't have gotten to see that interaction and see his response, the look in his eyes, this and that, then it would have been a much different situation for me afterwards. And that's something I didn't see the importance of in the time. And Joe marches right up. He doesn't like confront him like just because it kind of happened. He goes looking for him to make sure that he gets to talk to him, that he sees him and talks to him and you know, all this and that. And so that was, at the time, I didn't really realize the significance of it. And that's something that I definitely learned from, and I'll remember. And it's a perfect, just the absolute perfect example of what I was talking about. After that, what did we do? We went and smoked cigars, and he played the ukulele for me. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're a Native American in your past life, and you definitely were, because your heritage is very much, you know, Aztec, Mayan. All this is very much in your blood.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree that there's definitely some part of that fire burning in my soul.
I think
Yeah, man. Phew, yeah, we've had some good times. I remember, man. We our first conversation was before Block TV. Block TV met in Bali. Man, what a good time we've had. Vegas.
Oh man, that reminded me of a story about which I've never told you or anybody. It's not a big deal or anything, but it's just an awkward situation for me that I've always kept to myself. That would be a funny thing to share now. So going into Bali, that was like end of October last year, and I stopped into Kuala Lumpur for a few days beforehand and met literally some of the best people I've ever met in my life. It was unbelievable, the people that I met and the time that they showed me, and the conversations that we had. One guy specifically, Umair, I'm sure you're not watching, but if you are, I've never had such a intellectual conversation with somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning after 20 beers or whatever it was. It was just what a treat. And so here I am at I don't know when they close the bars or whatever, but I know for sure we're drinking at 4 a.m. and I got a flight that's leaving around 7 or 8 a.m. What I remember specifically is being in the cab ride on the way to the airport, like 5:30 or whatever in the morning, and feeling like I need to keep the buzz going until I get to the plane, and then once I get to the plane, I can just pass out and it'll all be good. So I fucking pass out in the back of the cab, and just spilled my drink all over myself. Like I was trying to like play it cool so they wouldn't notice it's like alcohol, like I had in some cup or whatever. Here I am, pulled up to the airport. I'm just passed out. with the drink all over me, and now I got to get myself on the fucking plane. And thank heavens I made it. And there are very few times where I've felt this hungover, but I just had such a good time that and it was the last night, and I was just not, it's just what had to happen. So then I show up. I finally get to Bali and get to the place, and Daisy was she met me there at the front, and she saw what rough shape I was in, and we were chatting, and she told me, like, you better go figure something out, figure yourself up or something. He was the only one that saw me between there and then. Why I'm telling the story now is I'm walking down to the room, and finally getting there, and it's fucking muggy and hot, and I'm as miserable as can be. I sweat in room temperature, and then I'm walking down to my room. I'm almost there. I need a shower. I need a hug. I need everything. And then here you come walking up, and you're looking as dapper as can be. I still remember you're like in a blue suit with some nice like brown shoes and your brown belt, and looking real good. And you got like a cigar in a pocket, and you're already smoking a cigar, and you're talking to somebody as you're walking up. And I'm walking down, and we pass each other like this. I mean, we bumped shoulders basically. And as soon as you come around, I'm like, oh shit, that's Joe. And I just do not want to talk to anybody right now. Like I just like do not want to talk to anybody. So as soon as I saw you, I was just kind of like, just kind of pretended like I either didn't notice or know who you were or whatever. And all I'm thinking is, please don't say hi. Please don't notice me. Please don't notice me. Please don't notice me. And thank heavens you didn't, because yeah, I needed a few hours to pull it together. And then there we were at 3 a.m. the next morning drinking. You had your coconut.
Yep.
I've never seen anybody drink so many coconuts. Oh man, what a fun trip that was.
Oh yeah, are we gonna get a poker table and poker chips in Florida?
Does Bitcoin pump in December?
Excellent.
Facts like that. The number one thing we were looking for when we were looking for a place was poker accommodations, and we had a place with good poker accommodations, and then the place I ended up finding, it was just the next level for everything, because it had like 2 times. There's now 2. We got room for everybody, like about we got 2 full tables, which is as much as we're expecting, and probably not everybody's going to be playing. So there's going to be some big cash on the table. We're also there's a pool table. I'm trying to get some sort of tabletop so that we can do some like beer pong situation, because I feel like I want to get like a beer pong tournament going. I really want to get some darts going. So all the games are what I'm about. And then, so yeah, the poker is going to be first and foremost. And then once once Joe busts out and doesn't want to buy back anymore, you can go play some Nintendo 64 with the other dorks.
Super Smash Bros. I'll play, but
to bring us as a Nintendo or whatever.
yeah, I might lose all my money playing poker with you unless I pull out my old skills of being completely unreadable, which I've been practicing.
Yep. I mean, you're about as readable as a kindergarten book.
I got there. I saw when you could read me. Now I know. Now I know what I could do differently.
See Joe. See Joe bluff. See Joe get aces. Oh man, I'm having too much fun. This is almost like I'm at a concert just without the music. So I see you got some boxing gloves back there. That was the other thing that I meant to compliment is for sure it's a huge skill to own guns and all this and that, which I don't have that skill. But I'm going to be able to recognize that the harm that the unfair fight could do, like the Cowboys versus the Indians type of situation, while also recognizing that the evolution that it took to build a gun, and then also the skill that it takes to manage one. But what I really respect is the hand-to-hand combat. And Joe, I don't know if Joe is a boxer, but you are into is it karate? What have you been in fights lately?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, those are some cut up knuckles. I'm getting back into fighting shape. So been sparring, been fighting, been having fun, getting the muscles back.
Fucking right. I'm so
And
glad.
I'll tell you what, you don't get scratched up knuckles unless you can hit hard. So
I hear that. But yeah, that's something that to tie it back to what we were talking about earlier, I think maybe like just a great thing. It's just I'm so glad to hear that, and I think like when you're going through the hard times in life, or like when you're having the bad years, like really if you're able to refine those things in yourself that originally your heart pulled you towards, and then maybe just along the years it became not a priority, or whatever the case may be, and specifically something that is heavy on exercise and getting the heart rate up, and for me, competition. So if you're able to, instead of being the guy that gets overly depressed and quits doing the things that used to make him excited, is the guy that starts rekindling those things that perhaps he found on a prior cycle. I think I mentioned the 9-year cycle before. That's something to look into. If you start to refine these things, that's where you can really propel yourself.
I didn't even just refine them, dude. It's like they came back better. When I was wrestling, and I wasn't, the greatest wrestler, but I was wrestling someone way bigger than me, and I drop into he had me. He had my leg. He was grabbing my leg, and he was just owning my body. He was way bigger, and I jump and I fucking triangle choke him and pull him to the ground and fucking lock it. And it was a tap, dude. He was fucking bigger, stronger, and I was losing. And I knew I had to play it out, but once he got my leg, I was like, shit, how bad do I got to fight this? And then after that second or third jump while they got your leg, I just fucking did that kind of half jump backwards, lock the legs and grab the head. And oh man, I came back better, man. It's rekindled and it's fucking blazing. I'm hitting harder. I'm fucking, dude, it was good. Oh shit, I love it.
See, that's if there was a definition for evolution on YouTube, that should be it right there. That is evolution, not only back, but with a vengeance and
Yeah.
chip on the shoulder, kind of just feeling a renewed vigoration for what you have been doing, and then also already seeing the improvement in your abilities due to the vigor inside of your heart. That's beautiful. And so tell me, what were you thinking at first? This guy, he's a bigger guy, and so at first when you're going against him, are you thinking that he's kind of going to take it easy on you because he's bigger than you? We're just gonna kind of poke around.
No, you always go your hardest when you're sparring. It never really, unless you're really training someone, you go hard. But the thing that I think about always in any situation, big or small, is someone is going to get tired first, and you do not want it to be you. So how you use your momentum and your center of gravity and against your opponent, and use theirs against them, that's all I'm thinking about. When I see big, I think strong, but I also think tired. If I can hang out, for 3 minutes, then their 3 minutes is worth my 15. So or something. Let's just say something like that. My five. So that's what I think about. I see a bigger opponent. I don't think anything other than I'm gonna have to tire them out differently than I would tire someone out that has a lot more spunk and quick and agility to them. I'd have to put my weight on them. I'd have to make them. You get what I'm saying. Me and you kind of. You're the one that really got me hard into MMA, and so I've been seeing these champions just do amazing things. Amazing things. Just
Is there anything more inspirational than seeing somebody on the brink of death and then he comes back to win?
I mean, there's been tons of inspirational things I've seen. Like there's this in Afro Samurai when he remembers one of his past visions. I don't know if he's seen it or if anyone has, but he's fighting to be the best. He's the one of the best, and everyone wants to kill him, and he has to kill. And one of his fights where he's fighting an exact robotic replica clone of him after a dream extraction technology. He remembered a lesson that he had to fight from his own individual essence, and that was a really really important thing. Is that like when I see that in MMA, when I see someone do something that is just not something that you learn from the book or from a master, and like that guy that had his leg, someone was grabbing his leg and he fucking punches the guy square in the face and it was knocked him out. It was like, that was art, man. That wasn't just fighting, that was pure essence in the form of a fucking physical combat, pure artistic expression. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, and like you said, I came back with a vengeance, and it's nice, my friends have a key to a gym, don't have to worry about bullshit, coronavirus related shit. So we just go in there, freaking work out, spar, practice, and make sure that we're in fighting ass shape.
It's absolutely beautiful, and I love what you just said because it relates to what I was saying earlier, where you have to, and I had to write it down, find your individual essence. That is beautiful. I've never heard that before. That's poetry. I mean, that's a poem in one line. Find your individual essence. To me, the first thing I thought about was when I said sticking to your morals. Like when things get really hard and you're on the verge of getting choked out, you might have to get choked out. Maybe that's what needs to happen to find your individual essence. And then once you have found that, then you can kind of reach down inside and draw on that to do something entirely unique. And that is what you did with Trader, and what I did with EMASAR throughout the bear market. In the bottom of the bear market, what were we doing? We were creating a new way to trade Bitcoin. That's what gets me excited and gives me some shivers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking we could still got a lot of people on here hanging out. Man, a couple people, Wook Chewy mentioned he might be coming to Florida. A couple people asked. I really hope we can get a good crew there. Crypto OG wants to spar. I'm down. Crypto OG, me and you will spar. Come to the all-time high party. We'll have some fun.
So now we're talking.
Oh, if we want to do some beach sparring, oh yeah, holy shit, that would be fun, dog.
we get some bets going. I'm playing bookie. I'm gonna be the one selling shovels at the Gold Rush.
I just
Everybody,
want my cut. I get paid in Bitcoin.
I got it. I'll convert you. I'll do whatever is needed. This is one of my favorite things to do at like not like a house party, but like a party, like an overnight party, like a go away, situation where you got plenty of time, is to play the house in blackjack. Like it's just unbelievable how nobody will want to be the house in blackjack, but everybody wants to play, and everybody knows it's a dog game. Like I'll sit there and play against 5 people in the blackjack, play at the house, and go on bad runs and everything, and then that's when they're like, oh yeah, this is why I don't want to be the dealer. Yeah, I'm down to be the bookie for anything that we can get going. I'm not sure if you saw. Yeah, I think I retweeted or reposted it in our chat group. My main hope was to get a karaoke competition going, and I posted a poll in the Telegram group who they thought would win out of you, me, and Fibbo, and everybody thought it would be Fibbo. And now I really want to get that going.
Yeah.
So, and I've already got a line on the odds too. So you just tell me if you got to go. I'll do the same. I've got my appointment to go to the hot springs here in a half an hour, and that's good for 2 hours. So that's one thing that I really found that has stuck with me throughout the years. Was a daily trip to the natural hot springs. That really helps the mind, body, and soul. And like everybody or most people by now know how important meditating is, and how much it can benefit your overall life, and how theoretically easy it should be. Right, like it should be pretty darn easy to sit there and meditate. Yet it's not. And what I found is it's going out and sitting in the hot springs and just being there in a natural hot spring, sitting right next to a tree, I'm like right in nature, looking at the moon and all this. And then the heat kind of gets my heart going and all this. It just makes it a lot easier for me to kind of get in that zone, because I'm already going to be sitting there for 20 minutes anyways. And that can be the hardest part about kind of sticking to a meditation routine, is getting yourself to sit in one place for X amount of time, and that's the real beauty of meditation and everything else. Really, is that the things that seem so simple, that offer so much benefit, once you really try them, like they're just not that simple. And so anybody out there who's looking for a New Year's resolution, or wanting to try something new, or maybe you've struggled sticking with a resolution in the past because you set your goals too high. That's one main goal with one main problem with anybody that sets big goals and resolutions at the new year, is that you want to do everything right now. And you kind of, part of yourself sees everything that you can change and everything that can be different, and all these things that you've been doing wrong, and all this and that. And then you want to, all of it is going to be changed tomorrow, and then it's a new year. And what I noticed for me was that just pick one thing that for sure you can commit to. For me, that was a hot tub. It was like, for sure I can get myself to go to the hot springs every single day. Like no matter how depressed I'm feeling at 6 o'clock or whatever, like I can't get myself to go to the gym when I'm feeling that down and depressed. I just can't. And I know that about myself. But like the hot tub, when I thought to myself, I was like, like I got to be able to get myself to go to the hot tub, to go to the hot springs when I'm like that's just, it seemed like the simplest thing, and kind of like meditation does as well. And then there was also like that stretch where it was like, oh, I'm not going to do this. This isn't helping. This ain't doing shit. And then that's where it is you pick one thing, and then you experience that, anxiety of not being able to do it, and you persevere and you actually do it, even if it's just as simple as taking a shower. And actually, before it was the hot springs, it was making my bed in the morning. It was a video I watched on YouTube, which a lot of people have seen. It was a soldier that was just talking about a lot of deep shit, that he just said that he started making his bed in the morning. And as a very messy person my whole life, from just starting to make my bed in the morning and just committing to that, that was it. Now I'm like unbelievably clean, like and organized, and everything is exactly where it should be. And that was, you know, not many years ago where nothing was where it should be and everything was out of order. And I always tried to, you know, become perfect tomorrow, and just making my bed in the morning changed everything. And then the next time around, the next cycle, the going to the hot springs. So just finding these small things that your mind tells you, like, for sure I can do this, for sure, absolutely, no doubt about it, no doubt about it. And then just do that, just stick to that. And then once you do that, then once you get through and you do that, and you're like, holy shit, I did go to the hot springs, even when every part of my mind was telling me that I shouldn't. That was actually when I got the most benefit from going. And then you start to develop some sort of confidence or belief in your ability to accomplish what you want to do. And you know, what else is there to life than accomplishing what you want to do? That's what this world wants for you. That's what it's here. It's here to give us everything that we want. And Joe is a perfect example of somebody who, even in his darkest times, is not only persevering and pushing through, but already evolving and already coming back with a vengeance, like a phoenix from the fire. And before sending it back to Joe, I'll just share my new screen background, because it's been one of my new favorite things to do, along with sharing my socks. So I've been talking a lot about Hermes Trismegistus, and well, not talking a lot about him, just that was my background for the last month or so. And here is this would be Zoroaster. So anybody interested in ancient philosophy, ancient religions, that sort of stuff, would recommend looking into Hermes Trismegistus, Thoth, Zoroaster, Enoch, Metatron. A lot of these people, potentially these could be the same incarnation.
Hey, who's Metatron?
That's an excellent question. So Metatron is the other name for Enoch, who is responsible for Metatron's cube, which is why I'm thinking you're probably asking that.
No, I had this video game that was based on Enoch's journey. It was called El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron, and I never understood the name, but your character is Enoch, and you're sent by God down to Earth, and it's it's a 10 out of 10 game. It's a hidden gem. The art, the music, the gameplay is fantastic. El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron, PS3. And you're Enoch, and you come down with the help of Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and other angels, you know, things in the, like, dude, I'm telling you, this game is a motherfucking mind blower. You have to fight Shemiyaza, you have to fight all these different demons that were creating the Nephilim. That's what Enoch was sent to Earth to do, was to confine the Watchers, or the fallen angels, condemn them, who were creating the Nephilim, who were, you know, inhabiting and destroying the Earth. So this game was actually a masterpiece and a hidden gem that probably no one in this chat has even played or heard of.
Say the name again.
El Shaddai, EL space Shaddai, SHADDAI, Ascension of the Metatron. And honestly, even just look up a YouTube video of some of the gameplay or something, like Ishtar or Easter, or however you want to pronounce her name. She's like a main character in the game, like, oh, not a main, but she's like has a theme, and like your weapons, you have an arc, it's like you have a different, very like heavenly kind of armored stuff. It's like amazing. It's just beautiful. All these little hints of like this little connection between him and Ishtar. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I mean, it's honestly, look up a YouTube just a segment of it, and you'll be like, damn, dude, the artwork on this is just superb, man. It's like almost like watercolor some of the time. Sometimes it was like good graphic, but it was just fantastic the entire way. Played it twice, and I should play it again with you.
That's really neat to hear. And I have not been interested in a video game since I was like 12, but I'm interested in that shit. Not to degrade video games. Like video games are absolutely awesome. It's just not my like. I like poker. I like gambling. That's my cup of tea. But that sounds awesome. And I'm so glad you said that, because to me that's just such a perfect example of how you know, God or whatever you want to believe, spirit, it's there and it's talking to us in whatever we do, as long as we're following our heart. So if your heart's telling you to play video games and like that's what you love to do, then you play these video games, and then all of a sudden, like some stuff sticks with you. And before Joe talked there, like I was talking and kind of rambling on about a bunch of stuff in my mind, and then one thing popped out and kind of resonated, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's that? What's that?" And that's how God talks to me personally, is that he, like, these things will happen that will be a result of me following my heart, and then a long time later somebody will say something that'll be like, oh wait, what was that? And that may not have been there, but that's just what I was thinking. And the other way that it really relates is what you were just talking about is through trading and Fibonacci. So where the Fibonacci sequence was developed, a lot of people talk about Fibonacci and this and that, but it goes way back before that. And if you just Google Metatron's cube, you'll realize that, that was well before Fibonacci. And to try to sum up this to anybody listening so that it's palpable, the Enoch is somebody in the Old Testament who there wasn't much said about him, but apparently he was somebody that he existed. He was there.
Keep in mind, there's a book of Enoch, but it's in the apocryphal texts.
So, okay. So there's actually 3 books of Enoch.
You motherfucker, coming in +2 in me.
You're probably talking about the most important one is what you're probably talking about. So there's 3 books of Enoch, one that's in the Bible, one that is just there. I guess I haven't read it, so maybe there's a lot there that I just don't know. But the other is where he's referred to as Metatron, and that's where you get Metatron's cube, and that's where like the recent desktop backgrounds that I was showing was with Hermes Trismegistus with Metatron's cube displayed behind him. And Metatron's cube is where you get the flower of life, and that is where all of the sacred geometry comes from, and a lot of this philosophical school of thought. So that's something that I think is, like I mentioned a bunch of names as I was showing the background to my computer. Zoroaster is potentially another one. It's just an incarnation of the same person. You have Enoch, you have Thoth, you have Zoroaster, you have Metatron, and all of them were carrying the same pattern, this Metatron's cube. And that is where, for example, W.D. Gahn used these patterns to predict where the price of corn would be like 100 years after he died, 50 years. So like he died in like the 50s or 60s, and he made predictions for where the price of corn and wheat would be in the year 2000. So to me, this is the type of stuff that I look for as, somebody's trying to pitch me their religion or pitch me their TA stuff or whatever. Say, well, show me your proof of work. Like what have you been able to do? Oh, well, the Egyptians built the pyramids and we still can't build pyramids. Okay, I need to maybe figure this out a little bit better. So if there's proof of work behind what is being said, then that's something that I like to follow as much as I can until I can try to wrap my head around what they're doing. And Thoth, Hermes, Zoroaster, maybe Enoch, all said that you can predict the future with Metatron's cube. With this thing, you can predict the future. And then W.D. Khan comes in and says, okay, I'm using I've spent so much time, I've devoted my life to understanding this, and now I'm going to use it to tell you what the price of corn is going to be in 50 years and after he's dead. so he dies in 1950 and says the price of corn should be here, and it's like he says it's here, and it's like within that, like it's. So now it's like, well, shit. Maybe this is something I should look into. More babbling for me, but yeah, I think that there's a lot out there, and part of me thinks that the more I babble, the more that just something will kind of catch on with somebody due to their own life experience, which would only be a result of you following your heart. And it could seem as simple as liking video games. Or liking to smoke an e-cigarette or whatever, liking to drink too much. I mean, all of it is going to lead you to a place that makes you question who you are, and is going to leave you with a little remnant from the truth that you can't forget. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Because I thought this many times as I was sitting down as a degenerate gamer in my early 20s, thinking about how like the epiphanies that I'm getting out of this. You know, playing Call of Duty, you know, patience. If you try to run and gun too much, you know, like there was little virtues you had to learn to become a better gamer. That's the way I saw it, because I wanted to be the best gamer. I wanted to be like when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out, I was one of the first people to get it because I won a local tournament, and then I went on for like the next maybe week to be in the top 100 leaderboards PvP in the world. So I mean, I love to be the best, you know, and so I was constantly looking for epiphanies in video games, and I constantly found them. And a wise man once told me that if you are present in any moment, you will find value in it. And that epiphany can come to you while you're freaking, you know, anywhere. And present in any moment, you can find something of value. And so in my gaming, yeah, certainly I've come across some things like that, but you know, it's everywhere. If it's the same way as thinking of, you know, carrying shit as a workout, you know what I mean? Like if you think of everything as like making you stronger, then you find the ways to make yourself stronger, you know, even if you don't have time to go to the gym. It's just like you kind of build this self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. And I've always been in search of the truth. I've always been in search of in pursuit of all that which is good, wise, and beautiful, agape, as you would be calling it, I'm sure. And you know, I every whatever phase in life I'm in, there's something there, and I'm present. In most cases, I might take a couple mental days off or something, but for the most part, I'm pretty present, and I'm getting value out of the situation. You know, whether it's light or dark, there's if you're present in any moment, you will find value. And chances are, if you can find an epiphany at a dark time, it's going to take you to a next level when you come out of it.
Dude, I love it. This is why, obviously, we're such good friends. These are the conversations we usually have when we're just
Yeah.
offline and that sort of stuff. And it's cool to be able to really share these types of things very publicly, no matter who's listening. And what you said, you know, brought up a lot to mind, and it also made me write down something else. But it's like the story of Icarus, the Greek myth of Icarus, the boy who flew too close to the sun. And that was something that I really struggled to understand the moral behind it. And I think what Joe just described is exactly that, in terms of if you're always trying to feel good, like you're always trying to have everything be dandy and great, and you're just trying to fly towards the sun, then you're in danger of getting the wings burnt off. Whereas if you're able to take on that mentality of, you know, I hate the term faking it until you make it, because it's not, you don't want to fake it. You want to, like you said, yeah, more just a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what, makes me bring up a tweet that I shared recently, which, as I have entered the new year, the one area that I am really still thinking about and grappling with mentally is my space on YouTube and my space on Twitter, and what I should be really doing there and hoping to accomplish there, because flat out I accomplished everything I wanted. Like what I wanted was to be in Bali hanging out with Joe Saz and Tone Vase because of the value that I contributed to the space. That was a very clear intention and dream of mine. And I got there, and that was a while ago. And since then I haven't reevaluated. And anybody paying attention would have heard me bitch about it, I think last week. It's like, I've never made more good calls. Like I've never been more on top of a market. It was like from 7K till now. Look at my Twitter history. There's it's been really good. Like that's like for me in my mind, like that's what I needed to do to achieve the goal of getting all the followers or whatever. Like that lower part of my mind was thinking about was the wrong stuff. And now that I'm reevaluating, and instead of like really caring about the followers and all this and that, and starting to think about, instead of like how many likes I get, like 11 likes to me is tells me it's a bad tweet. If I'm always, if I'm generally getting, I just scroll a while now, but as I'm changing, but getting like 119 likes for a Bitcoin fuck yeah, just like a bullshit tweet. It's like, is this really what I'm here for? Do I just want to shit post? Because yeah, I mean, shit, if that's all that people want to see, then okay. Or do I want to start to transition to a more to a route with maybe a higher frequency? And these are the things that I really wanted to show you. Like, this is stuff that's going on in my mind through the day that I feel like I want to share. But then there's that part of my mind who's like, no, your Twitter followers aren't going to like this. You're not going to get 100 likes for this one, so you shouldn't share it. And like the social media game is like, this is the greatest video game in the world. If you ask me, is fucking Twitter and YouTube is the greatest video game in the world, because it challenges you on so many levels and really, again, forces you to take a look inside to what is your motivation for doing this. And is 11 likes is it for something that you really believe in going to be worth more to you than 120 likes for a euphoric moment of listening to the South Park song? I was literally listening to America, fuck yeah. I'm like, Bitcoin, fuck yeah. So there's nothing wrong with this, but it's just like, I need to understand, is that in line with what I'm trying to achieve? And this is more right in line with what I originally set out to do, is to just, again, to be the light that I want to see. And instead of saying I'm going to fake it until I make it, I'm gonna now, be more focused, because that's the thing, is I always want to be striving to be better. As soon as I've made it on any level, then I want to start striving to be better, which some could say like you're faking it until you make it. But I don't want to feel like a fake. Like that's not the terminology I use. But I do want to have a self-fulfilling prophecy in everything that I do. So here you go. I believe that I can. I perceive, therefore I am. I mean, however I perceive myself, that's how I am, and it all is a result of what I believe. So
that's a poem too. That's a poem too.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say it, because I've always considered myself a poet, and
yeah, it's definitely you're a poet, dog.
That action when you tried to hit me on the when you tried to battle rap me.
I guess maybe you were battle rapping a baby.
That was so much fun for me when they read it out loud while we're playing poker, because we did it like you and I, and you're like trying to tell me how your shit was like comparing, and I'm just like, God damn it, this is just, this is a kindergartner against a goddamn graduate student. And then we get to sit at the poker table while they read, and everybody, like, they stopped halfway through the second one because they're like, yeah, that's just, like, how bad, like, he's on the ground. You really want to step on his throat anymore? It's just like, that's right, bitch.
you take your rap battles, and you can You can keep those.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We battle rapped Old Man Kid. Yeah, it you know, he stole some candy from a baby.
Well, I mean, if we get in a gunfight, you're gonna win. But you know, they say sticks and stones may break my bones. I think it's really maybe the words that are, you know, I mean, if you shoot me with a bullet and I die, that's it. But if I hit you with some real salty shit that you think about before you go to
Yeah,
sleep,
I died on the inside.
it's like 1 a.m. and he's like, he really just said that to me and it rhymed. I mean, that's you can't beat that.
This is a super Colorado thing to do, by the way. To really love battle rap and all that stuff. That's a super Colorado thing.
To be white.
I'm not gonna be. There will be no battle rap at the house between me and Tyler. By the way, in Florida, I let someone else can battle him to rap. I'll sit back. At least I rhymed.
See, there you go. There you go. You're already starting. You're trying to get me going here, buddy. that's.
I thought you were gonna start doing something, but there's already gifs about you. Banging your head to beats.
Oh, I love that shit. That's so cool.
It was funny as hell, man. I hope someone tries to battle rap him.
Yeah, anybody wants to taste.
I'll be the bookie for that one. I'll be the bookie for that one.
All right. Yep. If I'm a participant, then I can't book my own action. And now that we're onto the Twitter scene, we better go to the pin tweet for anybody that wants some. Anybody that wants to come get some. I'm offering a bet. I'm putting 1 Bitcoin on the table.
You're a fuck though for the you're picking all like games that you like play every other day in your RV.
I mean, I'm offering to anybody in the world, anybody in the entire world that wants to come at me. And I didn't even put in battle rap. So that's why I came up here is like, I need to add battle rap to this because I mean, the bottom line is, so we're talking about a REIT, you know, like if somebody's good at one thing, yeah, I mean, okay, cool. But if you offer me a smorgasbord of things that you think you're good at, and you're offering a significant bet on the table, well, I'm going to be inclined to, you know, to look you up on that action. And these are bar games, is what this is. We got pool, we got,
and that's why he's going to be so damn good at them.
Well, exactly, yeah. So I'm the elite drinker. So like,
yeah, every bartender calls him by Tyler, or Tai or something like that. They have nicknames for him. He is a bar man. And beer pong. Oh, beer pong. Oh shit, is that up there? Beer pong's up there. Oof. Oh man. Ooh, there's a game.
You're gonna think you're good at a couple of these, so you're gonna think, oh, I'm a lock in beer pong. I'm for sure gonna win in pool. Well, he's probably got me in golf, and he's probably got me in poker. But yeah, all right. You know, so this is a really good bet. And I don't.
Beer pong's fun. Is that heads up 6 cup?
Fact, the terms are outlined below. So yeah, pong.
Okay.
That's ping pong. So beer, yeah, it's NBA Jam rules.
10 cup. NBA Jam rules. All right. I usually play World Series of beer pong rules, WSOBP, hosted in Vegas.
We'll get that shit out of here. Set up your own bet. So
I'll find out what your NBA Jam.
2 forms of poker. I'm even offering 2 forms of poker. You can play me in No Limit Hold'em or Pot Limit Omaha. I mean, get the fuck out of here. I played this shit for a living, but PLO, I'm just, you know, like learning. This is awesome.
I love that. Yeah.
Staring, looking for some action.
Like him and his freaking wet belly.
Like right here, 1 like, but it's like my favorite tweet probably of maybe of the year. Like, I mean, I could just literally watch this all day. It's just the best thing. Okay, so why this is such a good bet? First of all, why I consider myself a bookie is because I think that I can find really good, you know, lines where there are big edges for that are, you know, kind of sneaky or whatever. So like here, yeah, you could say, okay, you picked a bunch of weird shit. It's like, all right, there's 5 fucking games on the table here, boys, and I'm offering a bit. This is a $20,000. This is almost a $30,000 bet. $30,000 bet to the entire world, saying that I'm the best at these. Well, I mean, when I say the entire world, it's the combination of who follows me and Joe and that thing. But that's the thing, is you put this out there, and somebody tells a friend who is a professional golfer, this is what I'm worried about. Anybody who's a semi-pro golfer is sick at ping pong. The only person that can beat me in ping pong is somebody who is sick at golf. And if you get somebody who's really good at these two things, I'm in trouble. Beer pong, I'll fuck with you. I'm gonna go to the death. That's why it's the last one. You have to. And again, all of this is very well thought out. While it looks like a total shit tweet or whatever, trying to say I'm extra confident, I'm trying to bait you in. Is what I'm doing. And this is what I'm worried about: is the golfer who knows poker and plays ping pong. This, like, literally anybody in the world could take this bet. All you got to do is show up to the all-time high party, and you get a semi-pro golfer who can't earn fucking like, if you guys, like, semi-pro golfers have, if they earn $30,000 in a year, that's a tremendous year for them, right? And I tried, like, I was very near following that path of being following that route, and I've got friends that are. That you know, how long and hard do they grind all day? And if they make 30 grand, then can pay their bills, they're stoked. So here I am offering a $30,000 bet. So if you're, you know, yeah. So this is you know, this is serious. This is serious money, and I thought about it long and hard. And this is the guy who's got a chance to beat me. So I should probably stop talking about that. Pool. If you're not very sufficient at pool, or beer pong, okay, I'm feeling pretty goddamn good. And if I was one to be weird about it, I throw in disc golf, because disc golf's the weird one, and that's the one where I'm really confident that not many people are too good at that. So throwing this out to the world, anybody that wants some at the all-time high party can come get some, and I'm not even gonna, you know, dish you a rap battle afterwards, because I'm too nice for that.
I mean, that's a pretty fair challenge. 30K is a lot on a game of beer pong. I'm a trader, man, and that's a bad trade for me.
That's where I'm a fighter, and like and this is where you are too. So if you just maybe thought about with the right perspective, like we were just talking about, you know, self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever, you are what you think. When you really get down into the heat of the moment.
I used to be the best, but I quit drinking.
Well, okay, so that would be a problem. It's going to be hard for me to take that bet against anybody that doesn't drink, but
Exactly.
we would find some lines. I would be happy to, as long as, yeah, it's not after I'm already wasted. I'd do that bet against somebody that just drinks water.
But being wasted is like your A game.
Actually, I'd make
like
drink milk. It'd have to be something that's weird.
Ooh,
Like
ooh, kombucha.
Exactly. Something that's weird, like it'd be milk or something. Like I'd figure something out. But yeah, that is
kombuchas.
Okay. Yep. We could figure something out. So even if you don't drink, you can come get some. I'll be ready. And Joe will be the judge.
Yeah. Man, I might practice some beer pong. But what kind of table do you play on? Are you talking
How
like
about this? How about this? I'm gonna offer a bet right now, live on air.
Oh, you fuck.
I got $100 on me against you. Heads up in beer pong.
$100? I'll do $100.
$100.
$100 straight up. Whatever table. I don't care about the table.
All right. And you've got to drink milk.
I would much prefer kombucha.
I'm saying you got to drink milk.
All right. Well, I might need some lactose fucking lactate or whatever.
How about this? I'll let you pick the games. Like at first I wanted 5 games so we could make sure to prove the skill. But if I get to pick what you drink, you can pick how many games.
Oh, I'm like I said, if you're buying milk, buy the lactate version.
All right. So best of 7. What are you talking?
Oh, best of 1.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
We can maybe do a practice game. I think it's fair to do a practice game. You know, like, you know, not against each other necessarily, but just to like know the table and the limits. You know, something like that. But you know, I don't really like. You know, we don't need a best of 3. If we want to have fun and we want to double up or something, double or nothing on a best of 3, I'm down with that. But
see, this is a man who knows where who knows what happens? Is there's the double or nothing is exactly what happens next. So yeah, just going on one game is a very smart move.
Yeah, I think I'll beat you, but I would just want to calibrate my shot to the table a little bit. Just make sure I'm in my element. There's, obviously with all these bets, I can only imagine it's gonna be fun as hell to watch. I would love watching you play a game of pool for 30 grand, and I don't like watching people play pool. I don't sit here and go on YouTube and look up best pool player in the world, but I would love to watch you play for 30 G's on the line. Absolutely. Um, or poker, holy shit, my palms would be sweating for you. Oh man, I don't like these things, man. I'm really I'm a trader and that's a gambler, but it's like I don't like gambling. I just hate it so much, but I'll have fun watching it. I'll have fun watching it. I didn't participate in the poker tournament. I was playing blackjack, and that was kind of fun because that's like a lot of an up and down game. You know what I'm saying? Poker, it's like someone's walking away with everything, but you can still kind of, I don't know, that's the way I felt, being a kind of amateur gambler in Vegas and stuff. So I would have fun at the table with you, but I wouldn't want to put up a Bitcoin.
Well, this is just why I picked beer pong had to be last, because that would be the best game to watch. Like if it all came down to it, that would be the best thing to watch for some big money, and it's the one where I feel most comfortable. Like for sure, if I'm shooting at a 9-ball for a ton of money, or an 8-ball, whatever the case may be, I'm gonna be feeling it. I'm gonna be a little nervous. But I've played some beer pong for some big money, and when it comes down to it, and you start out a little nervous, but after you drink those first couple cups,
see, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna be lacking that A game that you get. Like we all know beer pong, man. Your best game is like your second or third game and on, if you can keep winning and you got a nice light buzz. You're just in the zone. You just let it go. You're sniping cups, But it's like, I'll have to find my A game. I'll have to find my A game.
Yep, and I'm afraid that your A game is just going to be enough to send you back to the bench. So I was glad to hear
For $100, man, those are gonna be some heavy words to eat, dog.
I mean, it sounds like you're trying to up the action or something as a guy.
I'll double down on a best of 3 if you really want, but I want to see the table. I want to see the cups. I mean, I also need to learn your rules because I kind of play fellas finger bitches blow. I play some different stuff. So yeah, I need to know your rules because I need to change my instincts around a little bit. Do you bounce? I got a nasty SWAT game, fucking nasty SWAT game, dude.
NBA Jam rules all the way, and if you don't know that,
so I can Google this and I'll type in NBA Jam rules beer pong and it'll be a list.
You know what? I'm sure that there will, and that would be a good thing to do, because that is also known as Colorado rules, and that is the most important thing is going to be that you get balls back if you make 3 in a row. So
okay, so fire, but you have to call fire.
Yeah, you have to call heating up, and then no fingering, and you have to if somebody makes a cup, they have to say leave it, or I can pull it. So if I pull it before you say leave it, it's out. But I can't finger this.
That's the East Coast thing too. Out in California, we did a thing called it was like a bomb or whatever, smart bomb. I don't know. But if 2 players sink the same cup, you leave the ball in, and the second player, if they sink the same cup, then it's every cup touching that cup and balls back.
Okay.
No, so we would play like explosion rule, where if on the first, you could win a game of beer pong in 2 turns. You both sink shots in the middle cup of the rack, and you explode everything, left with 3 cups, re-rack for a 3, and if you both nail the same cup, then that's a wrap. But that was Cali rules.
Yeah, these explosionable Cali rules are they're out, and the Colorado NBA Jam rules are in. So that's why it's already making over the West Coast. The East Coast is because the NBA Jam rules are just much better, and that's the bottom line.
No, I'm whatever you say. I actually have some company that happens to have arrived just now, and as much as I want to keep going back and forth with you on maybe add in there chopping wood with an axe, or you know, or
Uh,
punch pounds per pressure, pounds per square inch on who can throw a harder punch. Man, I'll bet you a Bitcoin on some of those. But
See here, get your own bet going. So figure out what are 5 things that you can beat anybody in the world at. That maybe a couple you would lose at, but there's 3. Like that's the key to this bet. And I'm giving away all of my
ooh, interesting.
hustle
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I
because
see
I
that's what you've
haven't
been
got any
doing.
action yet. Really, like you find 3 things you're very certain you're going to win, and then 2 that you think other people are they're confident. Like everybody thinks they're good at poker. Everybody, as soon as they learn the rules, they think they're good at poker, and everybody that plays pool thinks that they're good at pool. Like that's
Uh-huh.
the great thing that you'll notice
Yeah,
about
I think I'm good
anybody
at
that
pool,
plays pool.
but I'm
Yeah,
probably not great at pool.
like and it's unbelievable the discrepancy between like the bar type of pool players and like the actual you know, pool hall type of pool players, where you go to a bar and you find 10 people are going to tell you how good of a pool player are, and 3 of them that are ready to gamble, and it's yeah, so that's the key to this bet is you find 3
Man,
things.
you are such a gambling man, dude. You are such a gambling man.
To my core, I swear.
I know. It's fuck. You guys like don't understand. He is a gambling man, dude. It cracks me up because I'm the exact opposite. He will fucking find a gamble in everything.
It absolutely everything, and you feel free to go whenever you want. But you brought up another good story about when I was. I remember blaming my dad and being so mad at him, or just just being like blaming him for turning me into a gambler, because when I was like 8, 7, 6 years old or whatever, we love watching baseball and sports, and I quickly realized how much more fun it was to watch when there was some money on the line, and that it really didn't matter how much money there was. Like, so my dad's rule was that he'd only bet me $1 and he wouldn't bet more. And so I'd always love to bet him $1, and I hated to pay him that $1, and he always made me do it. He was sitting there smoking a cigarette and reminded me about how we agreed to that bet. And so that was something that years later, like after like you know becoming like a degenerate on the golf course and at the poker tables and everything else. So my dad was like, why would you gamble with a 6-year-old? Like you thought you were being, you thought you were being responsible because it was only for $1, but that was all that it took. And then years later, I realized that, like, holy shit, he taught me how to be a responsible gambler. Like he taught me that, yeah, you can gamble and you can come have this fun, but as soon as you want to come and bet me for $2, that shit ain't happening. And like what a beautiful lesson to learn, and like a lesson that takes 20 years to learn, and that at first you reject and that you're pissed off about, like, why did you do this to me, why did you make me how I am, why am I not why am I deficient, all this, and then to realize, like, holy shit, like you really taught me something there. That's I'm not sure exactly why that was brought up, but that was something that came to mind, and I wanted to share it.
Because you're a gambling man to the
Oh,
core. But
yes. I'd already forgotten about that, about who I am as a person.
oh, but let me pop out for a bit. I'll let you say goodbye to everyone, because you have some people saying what's up. But I'll let you say goodbye to everyone. If you don't mind, I'll do a quick sign off here. And as much as I'd love to keep this going, but thanks for having me. Happy to be your friend. Happy to be doing these streams. And fuck, man, looking forward to seeing you at the party in a few days, a week at this point, basically. Yeah. So and everyone else who shows up, really stoked. So I'll leave you to your peeps, and much love, Tyler.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you are the best for joining me on this New Year's Eve. And you really have made it a special one. And I won't take too much more of your time here. But one of the best things about what we're doing here, and in the day and age that we live in, is to think about when we're 60 years old, it's like, this shit's going to be here. I mean, like we're look back and
Yeah.
look back to this, and like that, to me, like that might be the most valuable thing about what we're doing with contributing to social media and sharing so much. Like the more that we share, the more that we're going to be able to look back on and reminisce on, and that's where like relationships and all this and that only get sweeter with time, because of the the new experiences that you get to share together, and then that changes, like that gives meaning to what we were saying before. Like right now, I don't even know the reasons of all these things that I'm saying. Like I'll just say, oh, I rambled here or there or there, and then maybe in 5 years I'll come back and be like, holy shit, like there's going to be more meaning that comes from this for you and I, and also for viewers that are not only here today, but are here tomorrow, the next day, and years thereafter. So I want to not only thank you very much for being the person that you are, for exhibiting a REIT, for being a good human, because you're a good Joe, and there's no doubt about that. And I also want to thank you for doing what you do here with Honest Analysts, and then doing what you do on your channel. Those of you watching, I'm sure you've realized by now that Joe and Fibbo, they've been here week in and week out, not asking for shit. They're not asking for anything. Have you heard them plug one thing? If you like, what is their motivation to be here? And here they are, week in and week out. On a New Year's Eve, Joe is here on my channel, sharing his insight and keeping me company. And why is he doing that? That's, to me, really special, to get to connect with somebody like yourself, who is going to be as selfless as you are with, and I hesitate to say selfless because it's karma. It all comes back. It's to be as disciplined as you are, to be as true to yourself, to thank you for finding your individual essence, because I'm going to start over. Thank you for being present in the moment. Because of that, you found value. And now we are all going to gain from your individual essence.
The poet. Thank you. It is beautiful.
See, like that was a perfect example. I wrote those two things down. I knew how to write them down, but I didn't know what to write them down until there. So thanks again, Joe. You are truly a good human.
Thanks, my friend, and same to you. You really are too. I feel the same way, dog. So look forward to seeing you soon, man.
I appreciate it. And as I was signing out, I just want to thank anybody who is still tuning in, because if this is the type of conversation that is of interest, then I'm going to assume that you are a good human too, because we are attracted to things for a reason, and I like to think that those that are attracted to watching this type of thing are here for a good reason. And therefore, I want to thank you for enabling me to do what I do, because as much as I have talked about the ebbs and flows of posting on social media and this and that, I cannot deny the value that I have gotten from it, which is why I continue to do it. And the value is a direct product of anybody that's listening right now. Because anybody that is just looking for a quick price call and trying to make a quick buck or whatever, and is adding no value to my life, they tuned out a long time ago. And anybody that is still here listening to these types of conversations, I am honored, to be honest. I mean, like these are the conversations that were once stuck inside of my head that nobody would listen to, and that if I told the wrong person, I would get sent to a mental hospital or whatever. And the ability to share what is in my heart with thousands of people, I mean, it just gives me shivers. It's tremendous. And no matter how much I want to share something, or no matter how much I feel like I need to share something, if nobody's listening, I'm gonna, that's going to be it. Like, I'm going to give up, or I'm going to lose confidence. I'm going to lose faith, whatever the case may be, the only reason I'm still here today is because people are watching, and that is something that I really appreciate. So I do not want to take that for granted, and nor do I want to take your time for granted. As I want to be careful with the rambling, I also want to do the opposite in terms of when there's a good opportunity to, like focused rambling. Like rambling is something that's, if there's something like the opportunity to do what Joe and I did here today, to just kind of share what's on our mind and go on for much longer than expected, I am going to be happy to do that as long as anyone is continuing to listen. And if nobody else is continuing to listen, then I'll still have these conversations, but it'll just be by myself and in my own head. So that being said, I really appreciate you guys for being here. 101 likes on the video with 0 thumbs down. Are you kidding me? To me, that is a and I can't find the right word. To me, that is omen. That's what I'm looking for. To me, that is an omen for the new year, as I'm a few hours away from winding into 2021, and it's been an incredibly trying year for humanity as a whole. I am going to be keeping a very close eye for paying very close attention to signs of positivity, anything that is telling me that we're moving in the right direction, because I mean, I know that we are. Like, there's 0 doubt in my mind. So I just like to pay attention to any sign that, reaffirms that belief, just like within trading. If there's 0 doubt in my mind that Bitcoin's going to the moon over the next year, I still got to know, where that could go wrong. And then when that happens, I got to be willing to also accept that. Okay. So that will conclude the show for today. And thank you all very much again for listening. Quick shout out to the chat before signing off. David Chudzik was the first guy that popped out to me. That's so cool to see you here. That was, when I had 30 followers on Twitter, maybe, I remember you being one of the very first people that followed, and we interacted regularly, and I know that you're on a great path, because I've seen you. It's been a while since we've interacted, but I saw some tweets maybe a year ago with you bulking up in the gym and looking real good, and responding to the Bitcoin bear market in a very evolved way. Because you did that, I know where you are today and where you're going. I mean, that's cause and effect. So way to go. And a true inspiration. I mean, bottom line, it's somebody that I'm not sure if he has too many followers. Maybe he does today. If he keeps doing what he does, I'm sure he will. But true inspiration, somebody that's he's posting stuff like he's like, somebody like post a picture without their shirt on where they're flexing, and some, like 99% of people are doing that because they want to get a bunch of likes, and they want people to like them, right? Whereas, and then those are the people that quit doing it after they don't get enough likes, because you'll never get enough likes if you have the wrong motivation. Once you really hit that capitulation zone, that's when those people will give up. And what I've noticed about David is he is more sharing the pictures of looking good to show what he's done, where he's come from, where he was, to show the example of the human that he is, to potentially inspire others, be in the light that we all want to see in the world. So shout out to David Chudzik and Wook Chuya. If I just give a quick shout out to others, it's no mean of disrespect or anything like that, but David Chudzik was definitely somebody who it's really cool to see you here, because you've been here since the beginning, since I've been on social media when nobody knew me. Somehow we connected, and there will be long times where I don't see your name at all, and then when it pops up again, it's just really cool. So just a few more quick shout outs, and I don't mean to be overly brief with the rest of them because it is time to get back to trading. John Feeney, Thomas Svenson, Thomas Revsgaard Svinkson, Savinskin. Man, that's tough. Those man. And Daisy will tell you how much trouble I have with these words. Okay, but I love it. I love it. It's so interesting. So the NNING. Where the fuck does that come from? Sveningson. Okay, I think I got it. Sveningson. Yes, that's it. That's got to be it. And if you tell me it's wrong, then you're not pronouncing it right. Okay, it's time for me to go. Dumbo, Happy New Year's. DDDDD and Holloway, heart to you, heart to everybody else. Would love to hear you discuss philosophy. Hopefully that's what you've been hearing. Thank you, Tyler from Montreal. Montreal, what's up? I need to come there. Vancouver is my favorite place in the entire world. And I've heard that Montreal is even better. Like the French girls. You know about French girls, I'm assuming. Silvano. Okay, Johnny Capote. Cheers, buddy. Todd KTH. Let's have a great new year. We will, buddy. Anybody who is ready to is going to. And even if you don't like Joe, he's going to have a great new year, even though he's, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm misinterpreting everything or whatever, but just like as an example, somebody who is going through a very hard time with a divorce or something like this, even that person is going to have a good year if they are ready to learn what this cycle is trying to teach them. Because I don't know about you, but I don't learn much from when I'm really up here. And that's how I've started to, really respect the frequencies of life. Okay. David Chudzik, bear market definitely strengthened me as a human being. Fact or REIT. Way to go. Thank you, Saw, for everything. Watching you has strengthened me as a human and as a trader. It's so fucking cool to know that I have had an impact on somebody's life in an environment such as Bitcoin, where I really think it's the future, and that thinking of the butterfly effect, and if Bitcoin really is a big deal, then just the smallest little thing could potentially have a tremendous deal. So I will sign off by saying that when is the last time you talked to your mom about Bitcoin? I think that if you can't talk to your mom about Bitcoin and explain to her why she should own it, then you probably don't really understand why you should own it. And I have just gotten done with a handful of conversations with my family members, and they were all good and productive, whereas last time they were not. In 2017, when I was talking to my mom about this magical internet money stuff that like it was not productive, and it just left me with nothing but doubts and all this and that, and like flat out wishing that I'd never even talked to her about it because she's just never going to understand. But as the cycles go on, people evolve and things become more clear. As I was writing down my notes on my pad, I knew that this was important, but I didn't really know why. And then to sign off with Joe, it kind of all came together. So I would definitely be looking for ways to, just tie together the past experience in your life as well as with anybody else. Because if you were telling all your family members to buy Bitcoin, when is it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 on the way up in 2017, and you haven't been telling them the same story when it was below 20K, well, then you really need to look inside to yourself. And if you have, what I've been noticing is that everybody who told me to go fuck myself before is like, hey, what, how do I sign up to, what's a ledger? And I'll tell you that the first thing I'm doing, anybody that now is asking me, there's a lot of, you know, before I was telling everybody that I knew, and nobody responded. And now they're back, and or now they're asking me. And my response is, I'm going to buy you the Bitcoin Standard. What's your address? I'll send you the Bitcoin Standard. After you read it, you're going to have to tell me why you want to own Bitcoin. And if you can explain it to me, then I'll be more than happy to help you set up a ledger and explain anything that you want to know. And if I don't know what you want to know, I'll probably be able to find somebody that does. And if you can't explain to me why you think that Bitcoin is a good buy at 30,000, then I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna do it for you. And if you're out there as a hodler who can't explain why Bitcoin's a good buy at 30,000, you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a really bad time. And I am, unless you're still ready to evolve. And if you really can't explain why a $30,000 Bitcoin is a good, an incredible buy, a once in a lifetime opportunity buy for those that are thinking about it correctly, then you should quit watching the charts and you should go read some books, because the people that make the most money are the ones that understand the underlying asset the best. That's it. Catch you next time. It's been a pleasure to be here streaming with you guys. Hearts to everybody. And thank you all for chiming in to the chat. Even if I didn't get to you, I love you. You're the reason why I do what I do. See ya.